Doupo, outstanding intelligence. Starting by joining the chat group. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126, The Mission of IP Man's World, The Terrifying Law of Heaven and Earth. Yi Wen, at all members, who is free. I received a group task, but I am afraid it is difficult to complete it by myself. Is there anyone interested? After the last task of Xiaoxiao, the group members all understand that after completing the task, the points are distributed according to the contribution of the task, so Yi Wen did not mention the issue of point distribution. Yan Lingjai, at Yi Wen, what task? Dongba, yes, let me talk about the task content and rewards first. If it is suitable, I can help. Xiaoxiao, I think it must be related to beating up little ghosts. Count me in. Yi Wen, Ms. Su is right. This task is to defend the country and eliminate the invaders. After completing the task, the reward points are 10 million. Although my strength can be regarded as invincible in our world, I really don't have a good way to drive all those hateful invaders back to their hometowns. Seeing the content sent by Yi Wen, Xiao Fan's eyes moved slightly. For this task, he will not be polite. Xiao Fan, at Yi Wen, count me in. Yan Lingjai, since brother Xiao Fan is going, then I will go too. Huang Rong, and I, the invincible me, was also quite bored, just looking for something to do. Soon, the personnel were determined, except for Zhu Yuanzhang, Dao Longv, and Wang Teng. All other members expressed their willingness to go fight the little ghosts. Zhu Yuanzhang happened to be busy and couldn't leave. Dao Longv was not interested in fighting and killing, and people of her era could not understand the disgust and hatred for the little ghosts. As for Wang Teng, he didn't get along well with others, especially when Xiao Fan was there. He didn't want to go. Xiao Fan told Xiao Zhan that he had something to deal with temporarily, and then he went to the IP Man world through the chat group. Mr. Zhao, thank you for your help. Seeing Xiao Fan coming, IP Man hurriedly expressed his gratitude. Xiao Fan waved his hand and said, "It's a small matter, and I also hate those little ghosts." While the two were talking, Yan Lingjai, Huang Rong, Xiaoxiao and others also rushed over. After a brief reminiscence, everyone was ready to start the ghost hunting operation. After all, the time they could stay in the IP Man world was limited. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "You guys go first, or you won't have a chance to do anything once I do." Xiaoxiao agreed. Lord Thunder Emperor is right. Let's learn from the ghosts and compete to kill ghosts to see who kills more ghosts. Of course, Lord Thunder Emperor can't participate. Dongba laughed and said, "No problem, I don't have any good feelings towards the guys from Japan." Qian Renxu said indifferently, "I'm fine." Soon, everyone agreed to Xiaoxiao's proposal. So, in the IP Man world, a ghost sweeping operation was soon launched. In Guangdong and Guangxi, a group of inhuman ghosts had just swept a village and were celebrating happily. Suddenly, a domineering figure flew over. Dongba looked at the group of ghosts below and said coldly, "Although I have killed many people, I have killed people from the underworld. You ghosts, you even spared the old, weak, women and children. You deserve to die." 3 points returned to the original energy. With a roar, the terrifying transparent true energy ball suddenly flew towards the group of ghosts. The transparent ball swelled up against the wind and soon swelled to the height of 4 or 5 floors, pressing down hard on the group of ghosts. Boom! In an instant, the terrifying transparent true energy ball exploded, like countless transparent pills, shooting into the bodies of the group of ghosts. Bang bang bang, a series of terrifying explosions sounded, and the hundreds of ghosts were soon blown into pieces. Northeast, Yan Lingjai was covered in flames and rushed towards thousands of ghosts with guns and live ammunition. The terrifying flames soon burned the group of ghosts into charcoal. Huang Rong, Qian Renxu and others also launched a frenzied massacre against the disgusting little ghosts across the country. Xiaoxiao directly found the headquarters of the little ghosts in Yi Wen's country based on her memories of her previous life. With a 10,000 my lice, She instantly destroyed the headquarters of the Little Ghosts. In less than a day, the Little Ghosts team in Yi Wen's country was basically wiped out. Of course, there were a few people who fled sporadically and hid among Yi Wen's compatriots. There was nothing they could do for the time being, and they could only wait for Yi Wen to slowly clean them up. But this is not enough. Xiao Fan stood alone in the air, sensing the scenes happening on the land of Kyushu, with murderous intent in his eyes and whispering in his mouth. Then, Xiao Fan directly broke through the space wormhole, shuttled through space, and descended above the worm-shaped territory. Law of Heaven and Earth. Xiao Fan shouted in a low voice and used the Law of Heaven and Earth for the first time. In an instant, Xiao Fan's body began to swell wildly. On the insect-shaped territory, many people noticed the huge figure that suddenly appeared above them, and the figure was still growing rapidly, which made them terrified. The emperor and prime minister of the country naturally noticed the terrifying figure. The emperor shouted, "Damn, what kind of monster is this? Why did it appear above my great empire?" The prime minister frowned and said, "I'm afraid it's not a good thing. It's better to arrange heavy weapons and attack it directly. Yoshi, let's do it." The emperor nodded and agreed, and immediately asked the prime minister to send troops to destroy the alien creature. At the same time, countries with more advanced technology such as the Unlucky Country and the Ice Bear Country also observed the scene on the insect-shaped territory through high technology, and they were all in a state of confusion. Fuck. Is that a god from the east? In the midst of countless people's confusion, Xiao Fan's body had already grown by who knows how many times. He felt that it was enough, so he stopped growing and raised his foot, stepping hard on the insect-shaped territory. Under his feet, there were terrifying flashes of lightning. This disgusting bug should be crushed to death. A deafening voice spread throughout the Yi Wen world. Then, amid the screams of countless ghosts, the terrifying giant foot stomped down on them fiercely. On the ground, countless ghost teams fired at Xiao Fan's feet frantically, but they did not hurt him at all. It seemed like a moment, and it seemed like a long time. The terrifying giant foot suddenly stepped on the bug-like territory. Boom! A sound that shook the sky sounded, and the bug-like island group was crushed by Xiao Fan's foot and sank deeply below the sea level. Boom! Immediately afterwards, the water and the endless sea poured into the sunken ground frantically. In a moment, the originally arrogant bug-like territory was completely destroyed. This is the end of the invader. A thunderous sound instantly resounded throughout the Yi Wen world. Everyone who heard the voice trembled in their hearts. Especially some people from certain countries who coveted Yi Wen's country were so scared that they broke out in cold sweats. It turns out that there are really gods in the mysterious East. Xiao Fan ignored the world's commotion and solved the problem with one kick. Then his body quickly returned to its normal size, and then broke through the space and returned to Yi Wen's side. At this moment, Dongba and others also returned one after another, and were about to say goodbye to Yi Wen and leave. They also saw the horrible scene before. Mr. Zhao, was that figure that covered the sky and the sun just now transformed by you? Others also looked at Xiao Fan, shocked to the point of being unable to control themselves. Chapter 127 Feeding Each Other. Xiao Fan said, "It's me." "That's a magical power I mastered." Xiaoxiao hurriedly asked, "Is it like the magical power that Sun Wukong and Rolang Shen had when they fought in Journey to the West?" Xiao Fan smiled faintly. "It's about the same." Xiaoxiao was immediately envious. "If I could have this magical power, I could show my power directly on Earth. It would be very impressive." Xiao Fan shook his head slightly. "This magical power can't be passed on to others, so don't even think about it." "By the way, Yi Wen, is the mission completed?" Yi Wen asked. "Let me see." Yi Wen sank into the chat group to check it out, and then responded, "It's completed, and the points are being calculated and distributed." As soon as Yi Wen finished speaking, Xiao Fan and others received a notification from the chat group. Xiao Fan directly received 8 million points, and the rest of the people received a total of 2 million points. Yan Linjai said enviously, "I really envy brother Xiao Fan, who earned 8 million points in one go, which is several times more than all of us combined." Kaienkian smiled and said, "That's because Lord Thunder Emperor is very powerful, and the killing effect is also very terrifying." Xiao Fan shrugged. "I just moved a little bit. I didn't think so much before, Next time other group members have tasks, I won't compete with you. Huang Rong smiled and said. Brother Xiao Fan obviously moved a little bit. Yi Wen asked, no matter what, I still have to thank you for your help. After this time, other countries will definitely not dare to invade our country. Everyone chatted for a while, and then said goodbye and returned to their own worlds. Xiao Fan was no exception. All this is a long story. In fact, it only took one day from Xiao Fan's shuttle to Yi Wen's world, and then everyone returned to their own worlds. When Xiao Fan returned to the Qi world, it was exactly evening. Yes, it was just the right time to be in the evening. Thinking secretly in his heart, Xiao Fan walked directly to the Mitre auction house. In the Mitre auction house, Hai Bodong had sent someone to tell Yuf the news of Xiao Fan's return, so that Yuf would not miss the opportunity. Although Yuf's feelings for Xiao Fan could not be said to be very deep so far, there was still some friendship. Moreover, since becoming Xiao Fan's woman, Yuf's status in the Mitre family has risen sharply, and she has become an important figure in the entire Jiama Empire, which makes Yuf very grateful to Xiao Fan. Upon learning that Xiao Fan had come to the Mitre auction house, Yuf immediately came up to him with a smile on her face. Master Xiao Fan, you're back. Xiao Fan put his arm around Yuf's slender waist and said with a smile, yes, I just came back today. I had something to do during the day. After I finished my work, I came to see you immediately. How are you? Are you happy? Yuf swayed her body and smiled. Of course I'm happy. Master Xiao Fan said he would come after he finished his work. You haven't had dinner yet, right? I'll have someone prepare it now. If you hadn't said it, I would have forgotten. Okay, you can have someone arrange it. Xiao Fan was also very satisfied with Yuf's attentiveness. Now that he is a 5-star Zun level strongman, not eating for a few days has no effect on Xiao Fan, so he didn't take it to heart. However, having dinner with a beauty is not bad. With Xiao Fan's approval, Yuf immediately called a maid and told her to have someone prepare dinner, and then took Xiao Fan to her residence in the auction house. Master Xiao Fan, please wait for a while. Dinner will be ready soon, Yuf said to Xiao Fan in a twitchy voice. After returning to the room, Xiao Fan laughed. It's okay, I'm not in a hurry. By the way, I have a spiritual fruit that can improve your strength. You can take it first. As he spoke, Xiao Fan took out a blood body and handed it to Yuf. Yuf was delighted to hear this and said, thank you, Master Xiao Fan. Take it directly, I will protect you. Xiao Fan nodded slightly and said casually, okay. Yuf agreed, took the blood body without hesitation, and then began to refine and absorb it. Gradually, the aura on Yuf's body gradually strengthened, and finally stayed at the level of a 9-star fighting master. After all, Yuf's own qualifications were much worse than Xiao Fan's brothers and King Lin. Xiao Fan was not surprised by this. Yuf felt her soaring strength and was very happy. Thank you, Master Xiao Fan. This spiritual fruit is too magical, right? If it is auctioned, I'm afraid that the people of the whole Jiama Empire will go crazy for it. At this moment, Yuf's good impression of Xiao Fan became even stronger. Xiao Fan laughed. You only think about business. I don't have many of these precious things. How can I auction them? Yuf smiled and said, I'm just talking. The two chatted casually for a while, and the maid soon brought the food up. Xiao Fan enjoyed a good dinner under Yuf's hospitality. After the two finished their meal, Yuf called the servants to clean up the tableware. As the saying goes, when you are full and warm, you will think about that. After eating and drinking, Xiao Fan looked at the graceful and charming Yuf, and couldn't help but show some respect. Xiao Fan was too lazy to waste time. He stepped forward and touched Yuf's long legs, smiling and said, Yuf, dinner is over. Next, should we eat something else? Yuf blinked coquettishly. What does Master Xiao Fan want to eat? Xiao Fan leaned close to Yuf's ear and whispered, why don't you eat first? Yuf's face flushed. Master Xiao Fan is really bad. Having said that, Yuf did not refuse. Then, the two of them fed each other. After feeding each other for a while, layers of dark clouds appeared in the night sky at some point, and the moon went in and out of the clouds, gradually flowing to the end. A night passed quietly. The two soon reconciled and fell asleep in each other's arms. The next morning, amid the hustle and bustle of the auction house, Xiao Fan slowly opened his eyes and looked at the fairy beside him, and was also very satisfied. Now that you're awake, get up. I'll have breakfast with you. and then I'll go home. Xiao Fan was looking at Yif, who was sleeping like a cat, and suddenly sensed that she had woken up, so he said softly, "Well, good morning, Master Xiao Fan." Yif slowly opened her eyes after hearing Xiao Fan's words, and looked at the handsome young man beside her, with a little more friendship in her eyes. After the two of them were dressed neatly, Xiao Fan took Yif out of the bedroom and enjoyed breakfast. "I'll go back first. Also, tell the people of the Mitel family that I'll take you with me when I leave." After breakfast, Xiao Fan said to Yif. This idea was not something Xiao Fan came up with on the spur of the moment, but he already had a certain plan in mind. Where to? Yif was slightly startled when she heard this, and asked in confusion. Xiao Fan smiled faintly. "I plan to take you to the Black Horn region and build a business empire there." At that time, with the Black Horn region as the center, it will cover the entire northwest continent. That's it. You tell the people of the Miter family, they will definitely have no objection. After saying that, Xiao Fan turned around and went back to the Xiao family. After returning to the Xiao family, Xiao Fan pondered for a moment and found Xiao Yan. "Third brother, what's the matter?" Seeing Xiao Fan coming, Xiao Yan greeted him and asked curiously. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "I want to talk to your teacher about something." Hearing Xiao Fan's words, without waiting for Xiao Yan to convey, Yao Chen in the soul body floated out directly. "What do you want to discuss with me?" Chapter 128, Trading with Yao Chen. The excited Ice Emperor. Xiao Fan said, "You said before that you seemed to be a good alchemist." Yao Chen heard it and immediately said, "What good alchemist?" "He is the best alchemist on the continent." Xiao Fan chuckled. "Okay, Mr. the best alchemist on the continent, the purpose of looking for you is very simple. I just want you to share your pill formula with me." Yao Chen said, "The pill formula is the foundation of an alchemist. Why should I share it with you? Besides, you can't become an alchemist. What do you need the pill formula for?" Xiao Fan said casually, "I have my own wonderful use." "How about this? If you share the pill formula with me, I will pass on the subsequent part of the soul refining technique to you, and then it will not be a problem for your soul realm to break through to the Emperor realm." Yao Chen was shocked when he heard what Xiao Fan said, and his soul body trembled a little. "You said that there is a part in the soul refining technique that can be cultivated to the Emperor realm?" Xiao Fan said lightly, "Of course. How about changing it?" "If you don't change it, I will find someone else. At least, Danta must have no fewer pill formulas than you, right?" Yao Chen originally wanted to be reserved and exchange for more benefits, but after hearing what Xiao Fan said, he hurriedly said, "No, I can exchange it, and you go find someone from Danta." "What if they take away your skills and don't give you the formula?" "You won't even have anywhere to cry." Xiao Fan smiled faintly and said, "I wonder how the elders of Danta would react if they knew that you slandered them like this." Yao Chen ignored this topic and said directly, "I have all these formulas in my mind, and I need time to sort them out." Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "Okay, when you have sorted them out, let Yanzi come to me to exchange them." Yao Chen said, "Can't you give me the skills first?" Xiao Fan shrugged slightly. "What if you take the skills and then regret it?" Yao Chen said angrily. "How could I be that kind of villain?" Xiao Fan waved his hand and said, "Okay, you should sort out the recipes as soon as possible. By the way, give me a copy of the recipes for Fuzi Ling Dan and Huangji Dan. I will go to the Magic Beast Mountain Range, collect the herbs, and then refine them for Hai Bodong to use, adding a guarantee for the family." Yao Chen said, "For Yan's sake, I will give it to you first, but can you find someone to refine the pills, especially Huangji Dan, which is a 6th grade pill?" "As far as I know, there are not many 6th grade alchemists in the entire northwest continent." Xiao Fan smiled mysteriously. "As for this, you will know when the time comes." Seeing this, Yao Chen did not ask any more questions and told Xiao Fan the recipes of Huangji Dan and Fuzi Ling Dan. "Thank you." Xiao Fan thanked him, said a few words to Xiao Yan, and turned to leave. Yao Chen looked at Xiao Fan's departing back and murmured, "Your third brother is really mysterious, and his strength is improving too fast. He has already reached the Zun realm." Even in Zhongzhou, there are not many people who can reach the Zun realm at the age of 18 or 19. Xiao Yan is used to it now, and said with a smile, "It's a good thing for us that my third brother has become stronger. Maybe when the time comes to help the teacher find a suitable body, I can ask my third brother for help. Yao Chen's eyes lit up when he heard it. You are right. On the other side, after Xiao Fan and Xiao Yan said goodbye and left, they directly broke through the void and went to the World of Warcraft mountains again. After arriving at the Monster Mountain range, Xiao Fan's heart moved slightly, and he released the purple crystal-winged Lion King who had been neglected for a long time. You wait and help me search for a few medicinal herbs. You can also mobilize your monster brothers to help me find them. But you must not destroy them. You can notify me after you find them, and I will pick them myself. The purple crystal-winged Lion King nodded and said, Yes, young master. Go. Xiao Fan told the purple crystal-winged Lion King about the types of medicinal herbs he needed to find, and then sent it away. Afterwards, Xiao Fan himself also searched in the Monster Mountain range with all his strength. With Xiao Fan's current 5-star Sun strength, he naturally released a powerful soul force induction in the Monster Mountain range without any worries about the threat of monsters. It was very quick to find medicinal herbs. With the search of the purple crystal-winged Lion King and a group of monster brothers, the medicinal herbs for the Imperial Pill and the Fuziling Pill were gathered in half a day. Xiao Fan looked at the purple crystal-winged Lion King who had returned to his side. His soul sensed that the purple crystal-winged Lion King had basically surrendered from the bottom of his heart. He hesitated for a moment and said, Since you have performed well during this period, I am going to let you enter the awakening pool to see if you can awaken a higher level of bloodline or some magical power. Upon hearing this, the purple crystal-winged Lion King was overjoyed. Thank you, young master. Xiao Fan nodded slightly, and then his mind moved slightly, and he took the purple crystal-winged Lion King into the Source Energy Tower. The main hall of the Source Energy Tower, the mysterious awakening pool, was placed here by him. Go in. Xiao Fan glanced at the purple crystal-winged Lion King and said lightly. The purple crystal-winged Lion King thanked Xiao Fan again, and then stepped into the mysterious awakening pool. In an instant, a mysterious energy was generated again in the mysterious awakening pool, which gradually penetrated into the body of the purple crystal-winged Lion King, as if it was undergoing some kind of transformation. After a quarter of an hour, the awakening pool returned to calm again. The purple crystal-winged Lion King showed a look of surprise in his eyes and walked out. Xiao Fan glanced at the purple crystal-winged Lion King and said lightly, What's the matter? The purple crystal-winged Lion King said, My lord, I feel that my blood power has been upgraded, but it is a new blood power. I don't know what it is called. Moreover, I can feel that I will soon break through to the 7th level. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. Not bad. It seems that you were originally restricted by your blood, so you failed to break through to the 7th level. Since you are about to break through, stay here and do your best to break through the realm. Yes, Lord. The purple crystal-winged Lion King respectfully agreed. After hearing this, Xiao Fan didn't say much, and directly moved his mind and left the Source Chi Tower, then took out the automatic alchemy furnace, and put all the medicinal materials for the Fuziling Dan into the alchemy furnace. The automatic alchemy furnace soon automatically produced flames and began to refine, and it was refined in less than a quarter of an hour. Xiao Fan opened the alchemy furnace and saw that there were actually 3 Fuziling Dan. Not bad. Xiao Fan nodded with satisfaction, and put the medicinal materials of the Huangjai pill into it, and soon refined 3 more Huangjai pills. After the pills were refined, Xiao Fan put away the automatic alchemy furnace and the pills, then broke through the space and returned to the Xiao family, and found the Ice Emperor Hai Bodong. Master Xiao Fan, these Fuziling Dan and Huangjai Dan, are they all for me? When Hai Bodong saw the pills handed over by Xiao Fan, his eyes widened and he was extremely surprised. Hai Bodong was sealed by Queen Medusa, and his strength dropped to the Dling level. After being unsealed by Xiao Fan, his cultivation level only recovered to the 2-starred Huang. With this Fuziling Dan, he can recover to his original 5-starred Huang cultivation. With the Huangjai pill, his cultivation level can at least reach 6-starred Huang. Faced with such a big surprise, how could Hai Bodong not be excited? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129. Returning to Canaan College, Zhi Yan's business. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Of course it's for you, otherwise, would I show it to you to stimulate you for fun? Take it." Xiao Fan trusted Hai Bodong's character, so he planned to train him. After seeing Hai Bodong's performance in the future, maybe he could let him enter the awakening pool to activate his blood or magical powers. Hai Bodong took the pill with both hands and said solemnly, "Master Xiao Fan, don't worry, as long as I, Hai Bodong, am alive, I will definitely ensure the safety of the Xiao clan leader." Hai Bodong understood what Xiao Fan cared about, so he made a promise directly. "Of course I trust you. You take the Fuzi Ling Dan to recover first, and then use the Huangji Dan to improve. I will protect you." Xiao Fan patted Hai Bodong on the shoulder and said with a smile. Hai Bodong did not hesitate to hear this. He swallowed the Fuzi Ling Dan and began to practice the skills to refine it. Soon he recovered to his heyday, and then he took the Huangji Dan directly. Xiao Fan looked at Hai Bodong's aura gradually increasing, and he was also a little bit expectant. He wondered how many stars Hai Bodong could improve. After more than an hour, Hai Bodong's aura finally stopped growing. Xiao Fan sensed it and found that Hai Bodong's cultivation was at the level of a 7-starred Huang. Hai Bodong naturally sensed his own situation. After slowly finishing his work, he stood up and bowed to Xiao Fan. "Thank you, Master Xiao Fan." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "You are welcome, Ice Emperor. I will rely on you to take care of my family in the future." Hai Bodong said, "Master Xiao Fan, don't worry, I will definitely protect the Xiao family and ensure the safety of the Xiao clan leader." After a few more polite words, Xiao Fan and Hai Bodong said goodbye and left. Afterwards, Xiao Fan stayed in Mutant City for another 2 days, and was ready to leave the Xiao family with his 3 brothers and Yif and return to Canaan College. Just as Xiao Fan was about to leave, he suddenly sensed that the purple crystal winged Lion King had completed the breakthrough in the Source Chi Tower. "Wait a moment," Xiao Fan told Xiao Ding and the others, and then he entered the Chi Source Tower with a slight thought. In the Chi Source Tower, a middle-aged woman with a plump figure and average appearance, who looked to be in her 30s, appeared. Xiao Fan casually took out a set of clothes and threw them over. "You cover yourself up first." "Yes, sir," the middle-aged woman agreed, and put Xiao Fan's clothes on her body in a somewhat clumsy way. There was no doubt that this middle-aged woman was the amethyst-winged Lion King who had transformed after breaking through the 7th level. Looking at the purple crystal-winged Lion King who had already completed the advancement, Xiao Fan pondered for a moment and said in a deep voice, "Now that you have transformed into a human, I will give you a human name. How about Zhi?" The purple crystal-winged Lion King said respectfully, "Everything is up to you, young master." Xiao Fan nodded slightly, and then said, "Zhi, I plan to let you stay in the Xiao family in Mutant City, give you the identity of a female steward, and secretly protect my father. You will definitely benefit in the later period. Are you willing?" The purple crystal-winged Lion King, or Zhi, heard what Xiao Fan said, hesitated a little, and said cautiously, "I am willing, but I have a small request. I hope you will grant it." Xiao Fan said casually, "What request? Tell me." Zhi said, "I haven't seen my child for several months. I want to see it, and then come back to Mutant City. Is it okay?" When Xiao Fan heard Zhi's words, his heart moved slightly, and he also thought of Xiaoxiao and Xiao. It has been a while since they parted at the Warcraft Mountains. However, Xiao Fan sent Xiao Jin to follow the 2 girls. He and Xiao Jin could communicate with each other and knew that they were not in danger. Xiaoxiao was independent and wanted to explore on her own, so he did not rush there. Thinking in his heart, Xiao Fan said, "Okay, but wait until I send my elder brother and the others to Canaan College first, and then I will go with you." "Thank you, sir." Zhi heard the words and immediately expressed gratitude. Xiao Fan said, "Then you should stay inside and consolidate your cultivation." After telling Zhi, Xiao Fan flashed and went out of the Yuanqi Tower directly. Then, he took Xiao Ding and his 3 brothers and Yif and broke through the space and went to Canaan College. The location of the inner courtyard of Canaan College is quite special, and there is also space protection. So Xiao Fan did not descend directly to the inner courtyard, but chose to descend directly to Heping Town. In Heping Town, the Duang elder named Hong Luo was still guarding. Sensing the fluctuation of space, Hong Luo's face changed drastically, and he was ready to send a signal for help. At this moment, he saw Xiao Fan coming out of the space wormhole. "Don't be nervous, Elder Hong, it's me," Xiao Fan said with a smile, looking at Hong Luo's face as if he was facing a great enemy. It turns out that Elder Xiao was back. Hong Luo saw Xiao Fan and hurriedly bowed and greeted him, and he was relieved. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "Well, I came back after finishing my work. I'll go back to the inner courtyard first," Hong Luo said. "Elder Xiao, take care." Hong Luo didn't mean to ask about Xiao Ding and the others besides Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan nodded slightly, and then took Xiao Ding and the others to the inner courtyard. After all, there were too many people, so he brought Fixing with him. After Xiao Fan returned to the inner courtyard with Xiao Ding and the others, he still found Su Qian first and told him about Xiao Ding, Xiao Li, and Xiao Yan joining the inner courtyard. Su Qian was also very surprised to learn that the three brothers were all at the level of grand fighters, especially Xiao Yan, a grand fighter at the age of 15 or 16, which was still very rare in this area of the northwest continent. Of course, Xiao Fan was an exception. Su Qian agreed to their admission without any hesitation. Xiao Fan smiled and said to his three brothers, after entering the academy, "It's up to you to decide." Xiao Li said calmly, "Don't worry, third brother, we will definitely not lose face for you as an elder." Xiao Fan said unhappily, "Is that what I'm talking about?" Xiao Ding laughed, "You two guys, after so many years, still like to bicker." The brothers talked and laughed for a while, and then went their separate ways. Xiao Ding and the other two went to where the inner court disciples should go, while Xiao Fan took Yuf back to his residence. "Master, you're back." As soon as Xiao Fan returned to his residence, King Lin greeted him with joy. Next to King Lin, there was Zi Yan, who was dressed in white and looked like she was only 12 or 13 years old. Xiao Fan rubbed King Lin's head and said with a smile, "Didn't you go to practice?" King Lin hurriedly said, "Master, King Lin has practiced seriously. However, Zhen said you were back just now, so I came back with Zhen to see the master." "I didn't see the master when I came back, and I thought Zhen saw it wrong," Xiao Fan said softly. "I just said it casually, don't be so nervous. I just took my eldest brother to see Elder Su to handle the admission procedures." King Lin was surprised to hear this. "Have the captain and others joined Canaan College?" Xiao Fan nodded and said, "Yes, my eldest brother, second brother, and fourth brother Xiao Yan have all joined Canaan College. You can also look for them if you have anything in the future." "Yes." King Lin heard what Xiao Fan said and nodded obediently. Ye Fai smiled and said from behind, "Sister King Lin, hello, I am Ye Fai. Do you remember me?" Ye Fai and King Lin met when Xiao Fan took King Lin back to Yuden City before, so she asked this question. King Lin nodded and said, "Yes, hello, Sister Ye Fai." After the two sons reminisced for a while, Zi Yan on the side said impatiently, "How long are you going to talk? I have something important to say." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Really? Tell me what it is." "Please vote for the monthly ticket, read the book again, recommend the ticket, reward, and all the data. I wish the readers who support this book will make a fortune every day." Chapter 130 Treasure Hunt in the Mountains. Zi Yan said, "I found some good stuff in the deep mountains, but unfortunately there is a big guy that I can't beat." "Didn't you say before that I could ask you for help when I encounter people and monsters that I can't beat?" The area where Canaan College is located is a huge mountain range of unknown radius. In this deep mountain, there are many powerful monsters and various rich natural treasures. Xiao Fan's heart moved when he heard it, and he smiled and said, "I see, no problem. Let's go now and see what good stuff it is." "Okay, I'll take you there." Zi Yan's face suddenly showed joy when she heard Xiao Fan agreed. Xiao Fan said to King Lin and Yif, "You stay in the college first, Zi Yan and I will be back soon." After telling King Lin and Yif, Xiao Fan took Zi Yan and went directly out of the inner courtyard and went to the deep mountains behind the college. Under the leadership of Zi Yan, the two soon came to a dense forest area in the vast mountains. After passing through the dense forest, there was a small valley that looked like the mouth of a gourd. Zi Yan pointed to the valley and said, It's right here. There's a big guy in there who's quite powerful. I don't think any ordinary Wang can defeat him. Xiao Fan looked at the environment here and suddenly thought of one of the plots in the original novel. If nothing unexpected happened, it should be the earth core body tempering milk. Thinking in his heart, Xiao Fan said to Zhu Yan, "Leave it to me." After that, Xiao Fan took Zhu Yan and walked directly to the valley. Roar! As soon as the two entered the valley, they heard an angry roar of beasts. A white giant ape with a body of 3 or 4 feet soon appeared in the sight of Xiao Fan and Zhu Yan. The white ape exuded a sharp icy breath, and heavy breathing came out of its huge nostrils, like 2 streams of white smoke. Its arms were quite slender, and its claws were as big as 2 heads of an adult. It looked quite powerful. However, Xiao Fan saw at a glance that this was the 5th level demon beast Snow Demon Sky Ape in the original novel, which was a piece of cake for him. "Asshole, it's you again. I let you escape last time, but you dare to come back? You're really courting death." The Snow Demon Ape was furious when he saw Zhu Yan. Obviously, he still remembered Zhu Yan who had come not long ago. Zhu Yan's eyes widened and she said, "Why are you yelling? You'll know who's going to die soon, brother Xiao Fan. Beat him up. Don't give me face." The latter half of the sentence was naturally said to Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan couldn't help but smiled and shook his head when he heard it. "I'll just deal with it, and then go find the good stuff," he said. The Snow Demon Ape was furious when he heard what Xiao Fan said. "Boy, you are so shameless." With a roar, the Snow Demon Ape waved his palms and took the initiative to attack Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan was too lazy to waste time, and his right hand opened slightly, and a black vortex suddenly appeared. Then, from the black vortex, a terrifying swallowing force came out, and the Snow Demon Ape was swallowed by the vortex before he had time to struggle, and turned into pure energy. Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and the black vortex in his palm disappeared instantly. Zhu Yan was shocked when she saw this. "Brother Xiao Fan, what's the matter with the vortex that appeared in your palm just now? It feels so scary." As she spoke, Zhu Yan lifted Xiao Fan's palm and looked carefully, but did not find anything special. Xiao Fan stretched out his hand and rubbed Zhu Yan's head, and said with a smile, "This is a magical power I have mastered, which can devour magical beasts, natural treasures, etc." Zhu Yan said with some envy, "What a powerful magical power. If I had such a magical power, then I wouldn't have to eat medicinal herbs all the time, and those medicinal herbs are so unpalatable." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "This magical power cannot be taught, but I will help you refine the medicinal herbs into pills. Won't it become delicious?" Zhu Yan nodded. "Well, that's true. You don't have to eat unpalatable medicinal herbs in the future. Let's go. Let's go find the good things you said." Xiao Fan smiled and walked into the depths of the valley. "I'll lead the way for you," Zhu Yan replied crisply, and then she jumped in front to lead Xiao Fan. The two quickly entered the cave of the Snow Demon Ape, but they did not find the target at the first time. After some exploration, they found another underground pit under the cave. When the two landed in the underground pit, they found that it was an underground stalactite world. Not long after, the two found an emerald-colored viscous liquid in a stalactite, which was the earth core body tempering milk. As for the diluted liquid in the blue stone trough below, he did not collect it, and left it to the destined person. Xiao Fan put it away in a jade bottle, tasted it casually, and found that it had no body tempering effect on himself now. He couldn't help but feel a little disappointed, and then looked at Zhu Yan and said, "This thing is for body tempering. It seems that you can't use it." Zhu Yan's body is the Xiaoxiao ancient dragon, and her body is naturally strong. Needless to say, Zhu Yan blinked and said, "You can't use it either? I thought it would be useful to you." On the one hand, Zhu Yan wanted Xiao Fan to avenge her and teach the Snow Demon Ape a lesson. On the other hand, she planned to use this body-tempering treasure to please Xiao Fan so that Xiao Fan could refine pills for her more attentively in the future. Xiao Fan said, "My body strength is comparable to that of an 8th-level magic beast, so the effect of this earth core body-tempering milk is still a little weak. I can give it to my family, thank you." Zhu Yan was immediately happy when she heard what Xiao Fan said. "Well, it's okay as long as it's useful. I also found a few other places with medicinal herbs. Let's continue to take them." "Okay." Xiao Fan nodded slightly and agreed. With Xiao Yan's talent for treasure hunting and Xiao Fan's tyrannical strength, the two of them joined forces and completely swept through the endless mountains. In just 2 days, the two had already plundered a lot. However, Xiao Yan was a little impatient. "Brother Xiao Fan, let's go back. It's too boring to keep looking for spiritual medicine like this. Let's come back later." Okay. Xiao Fan didn't object to this. In the past 2 days, Xiao Fan's harvest was naturally very rich. He gathered all the medicinal materials for refining Huang Jai Dan again, and also gathered all the medicinal materials needed for Pozong Dan and Tan Hunrong Su Dan. Xiao Fan used the automatic alchemy furnace to refine a batch of pills for Xiao Yan, and also refined Huang Jai Dan, Pozong Dan and Tan Hunrong Su Dan. As for the other medicinal materials, he temporarily put them in the ring and prepared to go back to Yao Chen to get the pill formula before refining them. After a few days, Yao Chen should have finished sorting out the pill formula. Xiao Fan took Xiao Yan and returned to the academy soon. "Brother Xiao Fan, I'm going back first. I'll come to play with you in a few days." After returning to the academy, Xiao Yan said goodbye to Xiao Fan and went back hopping. Xiao Fan smiled slightly, went to find Xiao Yan first, and completed the transaction with Yao Chen. By the way, he gave a portion of the earth core tempering milk to Xiao Yan, asking him to share some with Ding and Li, and then returned to his residence. King Lin and Yif were very happy to see Xiao Fan back. That night, after Xiao Fan and Yif finished several creation battles, Yif lay on Xiao Fan, drawing circles with her fingers. "Master Xiao Fan, how are you going to arrange for them?" Chapter 131. Goodbye Yun Yun, confess. Xiao Fan touched the smooth skin and chuckled. "Don't worry. You can rest in the academy for a few days. I have to go out again. I also need to do some preparations. When I come back, I will open an auction house in the Black Horn region for you to take charge of. How about it?" Yif heard this and immediately looked happy. "Master Xiao Fan, you are so nice." After that, Yif left Xiao Fan's body, half crouched, kissed Xiao Fan's mouth, and then kissed down a little bit, and finally opened her cherry mouth and ate. Enjoying Yif's service, Xiao Fan felt relaxed physically and mentally, and soon another battle began. The next morning, after Xiao Fan got up, he explained to King Lin and Yif, and also said something to Su Qian, and then left the academy again. After leaving the academy, Xiao Fan pondered for a while and went to Yunlin sect first. The Pozong Dan that he had promised to give to Yun Shan before has now been successfully refined and can be redeemed. A Zong lackey is naturally more useful than a Huang lackey. Of course, taking this opportunity, he could also be affectionate with Yun Yun again. "You're here." In the Master's Hall of Yunlin sect, Yun Yun saw Xiao Fan coming, and her eyes suddenly showed some joy. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "Didn't I promise your master before to help him break through to Zhang? This time I came to fulfill my promise. Of course, the most important thing is to come and see you." Yun Yun rolled her eyes at Xiao Fan. "Who cares about you coming to see me? You said you can help my master break through to Zhang. Are you sure?" Xiao Fan nodded and said, "Don't worry. Of course I am sure." Yun Yun said, "Then I'll take you to find my master." Xiao Fan smiled and shook his head. "No hurry." After speaking, Xiao Fan stepped forward, stretched out his hand to move Yun Yun's hair on his forehead, and whispered, "Yunner, we haven't seen each other for a while. Do you miss me?" Yun Yun blushed slightly and whispered, "I don't miss you." In fact, Yun Yun did think of Xiao Fan from time to time in her heart, but how could she admit it in front of Xiao Fan? Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Really? Let me check it out." Yun Yun was puzzled and asked, "How do you check it?" "Use your hands to feel it. Use your eyes to see it. Use your heart." As Xiao Fan spoke, his hand moved down slightly, entered from Yun Yun's collar, and gently pressed against a certain position. "Not here." Yun Yun was slightly startled, and immediately understood what Xiao Fan meant. She subconsciously grabbed Xiao Fan's hand and whispered, "Okay, let's go back to the room." Xiao Fan agreed, picked up Yun Yun, and returned to her room with ease. More than an hour later, Yun Yun leaned on Xiao Fan and whispered, "You are such a bad guy. You always take advantage of me." Xiao Fan said softly, "If I am not a little bit bad, how can I take down you, the leader of the Yunlin sect? You hide your heart too deeply, and this is the only way I can open your heart." Yun Yun said, You always have a reason. I grew up in the Yunlin sect. Yun chattered to Xiao Fan about everything from her childhood to adulthood. After many in-depth exchanges, Yun also completely opened her heart to Xiao Fan. By the way, I forgot to ask about your family situation. You said before that you would ask your father to raise. Yun blushed and paused halfway through. Xiao Fan looked at Yun and hesitated a little. What's wrong? Yun asked with some confusion when she saw Xiao Fan's expression. Xiao Fan pondered for a moment and decided to confess. Actually Xiao Fan is not my real name. It's a pseudonym, just like the name Yunzi that you used at the beginning. Yun didn't care much about it. Then what's your real name? Xiao Fan said. My name is Xiao Fan, and I'm from the Xiao family in Yun City, Jiama Empire. Yun didn't care much at first, but after hearing what Xiao Fan said next, her face suddenly changed and she turned over and sat up. Xiao family in Yun City? Then what is your relationship with Yan? Due to Xiao Fan's intrusion, Yun did not know Yan, but she knew that Nelan Yanren's fiancé was named Yan, and he was from the Xiao family in Yun City. Xiao Fan sat up and held Yun in his arms. Yan is my brother. I know what you want to say. Since Yan and Nelan Yanren had an agreement, let them solve it themselves. There is no need for us to interfere. Yun found it hard to accept for a while. But, your brother was Yanren's fiancé, and you became my fiancé. How can I face Yanren? Xiao Fan stroked Yun's back and comforted her. Don't think too much. There is nothing illegal between us. Why bother? And their engagement has been annulled. Yun listened to Xiao Fan's words, and she felt mixed emotions. She didn't know what to do. Xiao Fan just hugged her and didn't say anything more. Master, can I come in? At this moment, there was a knock on the door, and a crisp female voice. Hearing that voice, Yun's face changed again, and she whispered, Yanren is here. What should we do? Xiao Fan said softly, you don't want Nelan Yanren to see us in this state. I will leave first. You dress yourself, adjust your mood, and don't think too much. After that, Xiao Fan kissed Yun's forehead gently, quickly put on his clothes, and broke through the space. Yun felt Xiao Fan's thoughtfulness, and looked at Xiao Fan's back as he left, and she was a little absent-minded. Shaking her head slightly, suppressing the messy thoughts in her heart, Yun said to the outside of the door, wait a minute. Then, Yun quickly dressed, took a deep breath, stood up and walked to the door, opened the door. Yanren, what's wrong? Is there anything? Nelan Yanren said, disciple doesn't understand something in cultivation, and I want to ask master. Yun nodded slightly. Let's go. I'll take you to the open space in the back mountain to practice. Okay. Nelan Yanren agreed, looked at Yun's room with some surprise, and then went to the back mountain with Yun. On the other side, Xiao Fan did not leave Yunlin sect, but went directly to the cave where he met Yunshan last time. Coincidentally, Yunshan was also practicing here at this time, although Xiao Fan asked Yunshan not to stay in seclusion all the time, and to go out more to guide Yun in managing the sect. Yunshan did not fall behind in his practice while guiding Yun, because Yunshan cherished his life very much. He knew that if he did not break through to Duzan, he would not live for many years. Yunshan, who was practicing, sensed the fluctuations in space, and his face suddenly changed. However, when he saw that the person coming was Xiao Fan, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief, stood up and bowed to Xiao Fan. Yunshan greets you, sir. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. No need to be polite. I came here this time to fulfill my promise to help you break through to the Zong level. Yunshan was overjoyed when he heard this. Sir, you are so kind. Yunshan is willing to sacrifice his life to repay you. Xiao Fan waved his hand and said casually, okay, don't say these empty words. Your body has begun to decline, and your cultivation foundation is also average. If you take the Po Zong Dan directly, I'm afraid there is little hope of a breakthrough. Yunshan's face changed slightly when he heard Xiao Fan's words, and he said with some concern, Sir, what should we do? Chapter 132, Free Pills. New members join the group. Xiao Fan pondered for a moment and said calmly, don't resist. Yes. Although Yunshan didn't know what Xiao Fan was going to do, he still agreed respectfully. Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he took Yunshan directly into the source tower, You go into that pool. Xiao Fan remembered that the founder of the Yunlin sect didn't seem to be a weak person either, and perhaps there was some thin blood left, so he was going to let Yun Shan try to activate the blood. If the blood power in Yun Shan's body can really be activated, his potential in the future can also be improved, and the puppet talisman will not be wasted. Yes, sir, Yun Shan agreed with some doubts, and stepped into the awakening pool. As soon as he entered the awakening pool, a mysterious energy flowed from the pool into Yun Shan's body. A quarter of an hour later, Yun Shan walked out of the awakening pool with excitement on his face. He didn't expect that after entering the pool, he could actually activate the blood of his ancestors. In other words, the blood reversion occurred. Yun Shan's potential has been greatly improved now. If he continues to practice step by step, he has a great chance to reach the realm of his ancestor Yun Poten. In addition, the strengthening of the blood force has also made Yun Shan's body full of vitality, no longer full of decay as before. Thank you, sir. Sensing the changes in his body, Yun Shan bowed respectfully to Xiao Fan and expressed his gratitude. Xiao Fan waved his hand and said lightly, "Okay, just do your job well for me in the future. I will definitely die for you." Yun Shan heard this and promised. Xiao Fan didn't say much. His mind moved slightly, and he took Yun Shan out of the Yuanqi Tower and returned to the cave. After a pause, Xiao Fan took out a poison pill and handed it to Yun Shan. "This is poison pill, take it, and then practice the exercises with all your strength." "Thank you, sir." Yun Shan thanked excitedly, took the poison pill with both hands, swallowed it without hesitation, and then practiced the exercises. The original Yunlin sect had only Zhuan level skills. Xiao Fan helped them deduce it last time in Yunlin sect and created a ground level primary skill of the same attribute. Yun Shan used all his strength to practice the skills and absorb the power of the poison pill. His aura was gradually increasing. Xiao Fan watched silently from the side. If there was any problem with Yun Shan's breakthrough, he was ready to take action at any time. Fortunately, Yun Shan, whose bloodline returned to his ancestors, was finally not as useless as before. With the help of the power of the poison pill and the great qi accumulated in his body for many years, he finally broke through the barrier and became a one-star Zong. In an open space in the back mountain of Yunlin sect, Yun was instructing Nilan Yanran to practice. Suddenly, she sensed the aura of Yun Shan's breakthrough and her face showed surprise. "Master, what's wrong?" Nilan Yanran was too weak to know what happened, so she asked curiously. Yun said excitedly, "Your master has broken through the Zong." As the voice fell, Yun directly transformed qi into wings and headed towards the cave where Yun Shan was practicing. "Master, take me with you," Nilan Yanran shouted, but unfortunately Yun had already flown away. Nilan Yanran had no choice but to activate her qi and rushed in the same direction. At the same time, Yun Lei, Yun Sheng and other elders of the Yunlan sect also rushed to the cave where Yun Shan was practicing. "Congratulations, Master, for breaking through the Zong realm." Yun rushed to the cave and saw Xiao Fan was there. A strange color flashed in her eyes, but she soon regained her composure and congratulated Yun Shan. "Congratulations, old sect master, for breaking through the Zong realm." Then, the other elders of the Yunlan sect who came later also congratulated Yun Shan. Yun Shan was also very excited when he broke through the Zong realm. "Haha, I have been practicing hard for many years, and today I finally broke through the Zong realm. However, this is all thanks to the generous help of Master Xiao Fan. You should treat Master Xiao Fan as if he were you treating me." In the future, Master Xiao Fan can make the final decision on matters of the Yunlan sect. Do you remember all of this? Swish. Hearing Yun Shan's words, the faces of several elders changed drastically. Yun Shan's face darkened. "What? My words are no longer effective?" Yun was the first to speak. "Disciple will obey the master's orders." Yun Lei obeys. Yun Sheng obeys. Then, the other elders also echoed. Yun Shan nodded slightly. "Okay, Yunner stays. The rest of you go back." "Yes." The elders agreed respectfully, and then turned around and left. Yun said, "Master, do you have any other instructions?" Yun Shan smiled and said, "Young Master Xiao Fan wants to see you." Yun's expression was a little complicated when she heard this. "Young Master Xiao, What is it? Xiao Fan took out an imperial pill and handed it to Yun Yun. This is the imperial pill. After the Huang takes it, it can improve your cultivation by 1 to 2 stars. You can take it here. Your master and I are here to protect you. Yun Shan heard Xiao Fan's words and saw that Yun Yun seemed a little hesitant. So he hurriedly said, Yunner, why don't you thank young Master Xiao? Thank you, young Master Xiao. Yun Yun hesitated for a moment, but still took the pill, took it here, and then began to practice. When Yun Yun was practicing with the imperial pill, Nilan Yanren finally rushed to the outside of the cave. Disciple Nilan Yanren, I want to see the master. Congratulations to the master for breaking through the Duzong and making great progress in cultivation. Yun Shan heard Nilan Yanren's voice and couldn't help but look at Xiao Fan, with a look of asking for instructions in his eyes. Xiao Fan casually said, go out and send her away. Yes, Yun Shan agreed respectfully, and then left the cave, talked to Nilan Yanren casually for a few words, and sent her away. Half an hour later, Yun Yun finally finished refining the medicinal power of the Huangjai pill, and her cultivation level was also upgraded from 3-star Huang to 5-star Huang realm. Sensing the improvement of her own cultivation level, Yun Yun was also very happy, and at the same time she was full of gratitude to Xiao Fan. Thank you. Xiao Fan smiled and said, why should we be polite? Yun Yun's face flushed when she heard this, and she didn't know how to reply. Seeing this, Yun Shan next to him smiled like a chrysanthemum. Mr. Xiao, I'll go out for a walk first, you and Yunner chat. After saying that, Yun Shan hurried out. Only Xiao Fan and Yun Yun were left in the cave. Yun Yun's face became even redder, but when she thought of the Xiao family and Nilan Yanren's affairs, Yun Yun felt a little complicated. Let's go. Take me to appreciate the scenery of Yunlin sect again. Xiao Fan stepped forward and took Yun Yun's hand, speaking softly. Yun Yun struggled slightly but failed to break free, so she let Xiao Fan hold her. Afterwards, the two of them wandered around the back mountain of Yunlin sect together. It was not until the evening that Yun Yun personally arranged a guest room for Xiao Fan, and then said goodbye and left. Xiao Fan was about to keep Yun Yun, when he suddenly heard a reminder from the Wanji chat group in his mind. Another new person has joined the group. After a slight hesitation, Xiao Fan let Yun Yun go back first, and immersed his consciousness in the chat interface of the Wanji chat group. Chapter 133 Lin Jiayu's surprise. Wang Teng encounters good news. Ding. Lin Jiayu joins the chat group. Ding. Lin Qingzu joins the chat group. Lin Jiayu. Lin Qingzu. Xiao Fan saw the two new members in the group, and his heart moved slightly, and he sent a message casually. Xiao Fan, at Lin Jiayu, at Lin Qingzu, welcome the newcomers to the group. Xiaoxiao, at Lin Jiayu, at Lin Qingzu, welcome, welcome. Applause. Yan Lingjai, hello, newcomers, remember to sign in to receive points, and then send red envelopes. Naughty, Wan. I wonder what world these two newcomers are from. Zhang Yuan, Mr. Zhao and Ms. Su should know, right? Xiaoxiao, of course I know, this Lin Jiayu should be from the zombie world, and he is called Uncle Nine in their world. As for Lin Qingzu, she is from the Wudong Qiankun world, and she is also a super beauty. Soon, all the group members in the group started a heated discussion around the new members. At this time, in the zombie world, when Lin Jiayu heard the voice in his mind, he was in a state of confusion. He got into the posture for the ritual, and a talisman appeared in his hand. He shouted, "Who are you, evildoer? Show up." However, after Lin Jiayu shouted for a while, there was no response. Kai Yusheng and Wen Kai, who were beside Lin Jiayu, were also nervous when they saw Lin Jiayu's face as if he was facing a great enemy. But after a while, Kai Yusheng and Wen Kai did not find anything unusual, and they could not help but look at Lin Jiayu with some doubts. Wen Kai whispered to Kai Yusheng, do you think Master is possessed by evil spirits? Kai Yusheng said, how about we go find some black dog blood and splash it on Master? When Lin Jiayu heard the words of the two traitors, he was so angry that he blew his beard and glared. You two bastards, what are you talking about? Stay still, I will teach you a lesson later. Seeing Lin Jiayu's appearance, Kai Yusheng and Wen Kai looked at each other and nodded silently at the same time. They could see the same meaning in each other's eyes. Well, This is their master's original appearance. It seems that he is not possessed by evil spirits. Lin Jiayu was naturally not possessed by evil spirits. After a careful inspection, he found nothing unusual. Lin Jiayu also put away the talisman and unconsciously paid attention to the messages in the chat group. Naturally, he also saw what Xiaoxiao told others about his own deeds and the chat group function he introduced. Soon, Lin Jiayu also understood that it was not that some evil spirit appeared, but that he joined something called the 10,000 Worlds chat group. In the chat group, there were people from different worlds, and some people knew his deeds. After a while of silence, Lin Jiayu subconsciously sent a message. Lin Jiayu, are you really from different worlds? Xiaoxiao, at Lin Jiayu, of course, even if you don't know others, you should know Zhu Yuanzhang, right? This founding emperor of the Ming dynasty is also in the group. Lin Jiayu, is Ming Taizu also here? Lin Jiayu has met Ming Taizu. Zhu Yuanzhang, at Lin Jiayu, ahem, we are an ordinary emperor, there is no need to be so polite. Lord Thunder Emperor is the strongest person in the group. Lin Jiayu, Lord Thunder Emperor is? Xiaoxiao, at Xiao Fan, this is the Lord Thunder Emperor, hurry up and worship him. Hehe, Xiao Fan, at Lin Jiayu, we are all destined to be selected from the heavens and the worlds to join the chat group. It can be considered a destiny. After joining the group, just treat each other as friends, no need to be polite. Lin Jiayu, okay. Cup, Xiaoxiao, at Lin Jiayu, there are many zombies in your world. You can capture zombies and exchange them for points in the chat group, and then use the points to improve your strength. Lin Jiayu, at Xiaoxiao, I know. Thank you Miss Su for reminding me. Yan Lingjai, everyone has one sign-in opportunity every day. You sign in first and see how many points you can get. Then, remember to send a red envelope. Rub hands. Lin Jiayu, thank you. I will try to sign in first. Ding. Lin Jiayu signed in successfully and got 199 points. Yan Lingjai, it's so little, forget it. I'm embarrassed to ask you to send a red envelope. Spread hands. Huang Rong, why didn't the other newcomer show up? Is she a silent homegirl like Zilongnu? Zilongnu, isn't it good to be a homegirl? Zilongnu has been in the group for a while, under the influence of Xiaoxiao. She is familiar with some modern words. For Zilongnu, being a homegirl is indeed quite to her liking. Moreover, now she has joined the Wanji chat group, where she can chat with friends in the group. She is relaxed and not too bored. This is her ideal life. Xiaoxiao, at Linkingzu, newcomer, please show your face. I have just introduced the functions of the Wanji chat group. If you have any questions, you can also ask me. Xiao Fan, at Linkingzu, does Miss Ling have any concerns? The world of Wudong Qian Kun, the Great Yan dynasty, the Huangfu family. Linkingzu went out from Jiaoshan taking palace to train, and was invited by her cousin Huang Fujing, and now lives here. At this moment, Linkingzu is sitting opposite Huang Fujing, who invited her to explore the tomb of a Nirvana realm strongman together. Linkingzu naturally sensed the movement of the Wanji chat group in her mind. At first, she thought she was hallucinating, but after observing for a while, Linkingzu initially accepted the existence of the Wanji chat group, but she still had some doubts in her heart. Huang Fujing saw that Linkingzu was a little distracted, so she asked, Cousin Kingzu, what's wrong with you? Are you worried about something? Linkingzu shook her head slightly. Nothing, I just feel a little tired suddenly. Huang Fujing heard this and said, in this case, Cousin Kingzu, you should take a rest first, I won't disturb you. After saying that, Huang Fujing turned and left. After Huang Fujing left, Linkingzu also immersed her consciousness in the Wanji chat group. Thinking of the chat group function introduced by Xiaoxiao before, Linkingzu's heart moved slightly, and she tried to sign in first. Ding. Linkingzu signed in successfully and got 5,000 points. Yan Lingjai, at Linkingzu, the newcomer is lucky, and she actually signed in so many points. Send a red envelope quickly. Expectation. Huang Rong, so far, Miss Ling seems to have ranked third in the number of points she signed in. That's amazing. Wang Teng, only 5,000 points, less than half of the points I got when I signed in for the first time. It's just average. However, You don't have to be envious. Your luck can never compare to this emperor's. That's right. Wang Teng's first sign-in points have broken Xiao Fan's original record and became the highest sign-in points record holder in the group. Xiaoxiao, Lord Biddy is so lucky. Shouldn't he also send out a red envelope to share his wealth? Rubbing hands, Wang Teng, since you're so good at talking, I will send one red envelope. Xiaoxiao received Wang Teng's red envelope and got 8,000 points. Yan Linjai received Wang Teng's red envelope and got 6,000 points. Xianxian received Wang Teng's red envelope and got 3,000 points. Ningong push. Soon, the members of the group received the red envelopes sent by Wang Teng. Xiao Fan roughly calculated that the points Wang Teng sent this time totaled 100,000, which was pretty good. Xiaoxiao, at Wang Teng. Thank you Biddy. Yubuku, at Wang Teng. Thank you Wang Gongcai. Afterwards, the others also expressed their gratitude to Wang Teng. Although Wang Teng's popularity is not very good on weekdays, considering the red envelope, everyone's thanks are not a big deal. Seeing this, Wang Teng was in a much better mood. A mere 100,000 points is a piece of cake for him, and the main thing is the feeling of being the center of attention. Huang Rong, at Wang Teng. Did Wang Gongcai encounter any happy events today? It's rare to send out red envelopes. Naughty, Wang Teng. Humphrey, you can just be happy with the red envelopes. Why bother so much? Wan, it seems that Wang Gongcai really encountered a happy event. Congratulations. Xiaoxiao, at Wang Teng. Biddy, can you tell us what the happy event is? Chapter 134, The Reputation of the Ruthless Emperor and His Strange Heart of Nirvana. Wang Teng, since it is Miss Su who asked the question, I will tell you. The people sent out by the emperor have found the boy named Yi Fan. Zhongba, I wonder if Master Wang has thought about how to treat Yi Fan? Zhang Yuan, same question. Curious, Wang Teng. Humphrey, of course, before he grows up, we will grind him to ashes and destroy his soul. Lin Jiayu, isn't that a bit too cruel? How long knew? There is actually a way to destroy the soul? Terrible. Zhang Yuan, terrible. Shivering, Tu Shan Hong Hong, it is indeed terrible. Yi Wen, too terrible. Zhu Yuanzhang, fortunately, there is no such horrible method in the world we live in. Wang Teng, Humphrey, now you know how powerful this emperor is, right? Arrogant, Qi world, Yunlin sect. Xiao Fan looked at the news about Wang Teng and couldn't help laughing. If Wang Teng really did this, it would probably only accelerate his death and the destruction of the Wang family. However, he did not warn him. His relationship with Wang Teng was not very good to begin with. If he reminded him, Wang Teng would not believe it. Why bother to do something thankless? The world of the heaven shaking. Wang Teng did not know what Xiao Fan was thinking. Looking at the reactions of the group members, he felt very proud. He finally managed to calm these guys down. At this moment, new news in the group made Wang Teng uneasy. Xiaoxiao, at Wang Teng. Young Master Wang, since you have sent me a lot of points red envelopes before, I still remind you that you must not have such stupid ideas. Wang Teng, at Xiaoxiao, what do you mean? You actually said that this emperor is stupid? Angry, Xiaoxiao, I have already told you about the situation in your world. Behind Yi Fan, there is an extremely terrifying existence. That is the ruthless emperor. Wang Teng, what? The ruthless emperor? In the world of the heaven shaking, although more than 200,000 years have passed, the ruthless emperor is still a powerful existence in the universe. As the young master of the Wang family, Wang Teng has naturally heard of the reputation of the ruthless emperor. Xiaoxiao, that's right. At the beginning, the elder brother of the ruthless emperor was killed by the Yue divine dynasty. After the ruthless emperor became enlightened, he directly destroyed the entire Yue divine dynasty. If you want the Wang family to follow the footsteps of the Yue divine dynasty, then go and kill Yi Fan. Spreading hands, Wang Teng, damn it, how could Yi Fan be related to the ruthless emperor? The ruthless emperor was a figure more than 200,000 years ago, and Yi Fan is just a teenager. Xiaoxiao, he is in his 20s, but he took the magic medicine, which made him much younger. The relationship between Yi Fan and the ruthless emperor, immediately, Xiaoxiao roughly told the story of Yi Fan's life and the mysterious relationship with the ruthless emperor. Wang Teng, damn it, can this emperor and the Wang family only let Yi Fan humiliate us and swallow our anger? Xiaoxiao, why don't you change your mindset and make friends with Yi Fan directly? Today as Yi Fan has not had any conflict with your Wang family, right? With the power of your Wang family and Beiyuan, it is not difficult to invest in Yi Fan, and you can gain the friendship of the two emperors in the future. Isn't this a sure win? Wang Teng, what you said makes some sense. This emperor will consider it. Yan Lingjai, at Xiaoxiao, is this ruthless emperor very powerful? I didn't expect that an arrogant guy like Wang Teng would be afraid of someone. Huang Rong, I am also very curious. Just by relying on a name, the unruly Wang Teng was scared to death. It's quite surprising. Smirk. Xiao Fan, the ruthless emperor is indeed very powerful. She is the most brilliant emperor in history, the first chaotic body transformed after birth in history, the most talented woman in ancient times, and the most truthless person in the world of Zushan. Xiao Fan, the ruthless emperor is proud of the ancient and modern times. She fights against the sky, the earth, and herself. She is not gifted, but she relies on her own strength to kill all the kings and stand alone in the 9 heavens. Even the gods cannot block her way. With a physique inferior to that of ordinary people, she finally reached the pinnacle and became one of the most powerful figures in ancient and modern times. I will briefly talk about a few of her deeds, and you will understand. So amazing. I will be satisfied when I can be 1/10,000th of the ruthless emperor. Worship. Nangong Push, who said that women are inferior to men. This ruthless emperor is really amazing. Zhang Yuan, I didn't expect that the ruthless emperor was actually a woman. From today on, the ruthless emperor is my lifelong goal. Zhu Yuanzhang, this is the real emperor. Our emperor is simply incomparable. Spreading hands. After learning about the deeds of the ruthless emperor, everyone in the group was full of admiration for the ruthless emperor. The world of the sky. Wang Teng watched Xiao Fan's story about the ruthless emperor, and his eyelids twitched. The reputation of the ruthless emperor was widely spread in the world of the sky, but it was not as detailed as Xiao Fan's story. Wang Teng felt more and more heavy pressure in his heart. Although Wang Teng regarded himself as a young emperor, he still had some self-knowledge. He was not comparable to the ruthless emperor at all. If, as Xiaoxiao said, Yi Fan was really the reincarnation of the ruthless emperor's brother, then if he killed Yi Fan, wouldn't it bring disaster to the Wang family? Wang Teng had to carefully consider Xiaoxiao's proposal, and at the same time decided that he must restrain the people in the clan and must not provoke Yi Fan. Thinking in his heart, Wang Teng sent a message in the group at random, and then exited the chat group interface, ready to go to his father to discuss the matter. Wang Teng, at Xiaoxiao, thank you for reminding me. I will leave first if I have something to do. Xiaoxiao, you're welcome. Master Wang, please take it easy. After Wang Teng left, Xiaoxiao at Linkingzhu again. Xiaoxiao, at Linkingzhu, Miss Ling, have you been to the ancient tomb of a Nirvana-level deceased in the Great Yan dynasty? Linkingzhu was a little surprised when she saw Xiaoxiao's message. Linkingzhu, how do you know about this? I was just about to go to the ancient tomb. Xiaoxiao, at Linkingzhu, you'd better not go. If you must go, don't fight for that Nirvana heart. Linkingzhu, why? The world of martial universe, the Great Yan dynasty, the guest room of the Huangfu family. Linkingzhu looked at the message sent by Xiaoxiao and was very puzzled. However, through what Xiaoxiao had said about Lin Jiayu and Wang Teng before, Linkingzhu discovered that Xiaoxiao seemed to know some of the fate trajectories of other group members, and she couldn't help but feel wary of the ancient tomb. Xiaoxiao, at Linkingzhu, the owner of the Nirvana heart originally advanced to the Nirvana realm with the power of yin and yang. If you absorb the Nirvana heart, you need to reconcile yin and yang, otherwise you will be burned by fire, and the consequences. After reading the message sent by Xiaoxiao, Linkingzhu couldn't help but reveal a faint blush on her beautiful face. The reason why Linkingzhu prepared to enter the ancient tomb was largely for the Nirvana heart. If Xiaoxiao hadn't reminded her, she would definitely seize the Nirvana heart and absorb and refine it. In that case, thinking of the terrible consequences, Lin Qingzu couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. Lin Qingzu, at Su Xiaoxiao. Thank you Miss Su for reminding me. I signed in with the points I signed in before as a small token of my gratitude. I hope Ms. Su won't despise it. Su Xiaoxiao's exclusive red envelope. Su Xiaoxiao, then you're welcome. Su Xiaoxiao received Lin Qingzu's red envelope and received 5,000 points. Su Xiaoxiao, in fact, if you absorb the Nirvana heart, you wouldn't be burned to death. Do you want to know what happened originally? Chapter 135 Lin Qingzu's suspicion and Xiao Fan's plan. Lin Qingzu, since I already know the problem of Nirvana heart, I will naturally not absorb it, and the rest is not important. Yan Lingjai, at Su Xiaoxiao. I want to know, Su Xiaoxiao, please tell me, and by the way, tell her about Miss Ling's fate. It will also be good for her, right? Expectation. Yan Lingjai is the first member to join the group. After the members join the group, Su Xiaoxiao will basically tell their own life trajectories. For Yan Lingjai, this is like listening to an interesting story, and she can also meet the parties involved in the story, which is quite interesting, especially this time. Lin Qingzu's affairs seem to be a bit explosive, and Yan Lingjai is even more interested. Su Xiaoxiao, at Lin Qingzu, if you don't mind, then I will talk about it. Not only about this matter, but also about some of your original fate trajectories. Lin Qingzu, okay, if I know about the future, it will be helpful to me. Su Xiaoxiao, let me first talk about your trip to the ancient Tomb Mansion. In addition to the 4 major clans of the Great Yan dynasty, some people from small forces will also go there. Among them is a man called Lin Dong, who is the son of luck in your world. After you get the Nirvana heart, following Su Xiaoxiao's narration, Lin Qingzu and other members of the group soon learned about Lin Qingzu's original experience in the ancient Tomb Mansion. Huang Rong, hee, there is such a thing. It feels so exciting. Smirk, Wan. But this Nirvana heart can really improve strength, which is not bad. Well, the premise is to find a suitable man. Naughty, Yan Lingjai. Of course I have to add Brother Xiao Fan here. If I use this Nirvana heart with Brother Xiao Fan, I am willing. Shai, Qian Renxu, at Yan Lingjai, I think you have been plotting against Master Xiao for a long time, right? Su Xiaoxiao, hee. In fact, if Master Xiao and I use this Nirvana heart together, it is also possible. Xiao Fan, ahem, stop talking nonsense. Su Xiaoxiao, please continue to tell Miss Ling about her future destiny. This should be helpful to her and Jiaoshan taking palace, especially the collusion between Yuanmin and Yaimo. It is a major disaster for the entire Wudong world. Wudong world, Great Yan dynasty, Huangfu family guest room. Lin Qingzu originally read the message sent by Su Xiaoxiao, and felt a little ashamed and angry. At the same time, she thought that if she could meet that person named Lin Dong, she must teach him a lesson first. But when she saw the message sent by Xiao Fan, she immediately shifted her mind from her own private affairs to the affairs of Yuanmin and Yaimo. Yuanmin is the leader of the 8 super sects in the East Zhuan territory, and it is also an existence with a transcendent status in the entire Tanxuan continent. Yaimo is a threat to the entire Tanxuan continent. Hearing the news of these two at the same time, and they are actually colluding, it is really hard for Lin Qingzu not to be shocked. Lin Qingzu, at Xiao Fan, Mr. Xiao, do you also know something about the situation in our world? You said that the Yuan sect and the Yimo are colluding. Is this true? Xiao Fan, Su Xiaoxiao and I are both time travelers, so we basically know the situations of other members in the group, and we naturally know your situation. The collusion between the Yuan sect and the Yimo is indeed true. By the way, the time travelers are. Xiao Fan briefly introduced to Lin Qingzu the reason why he knew the news of the Wudong Qiankun world and the meaning of time travelers. Lin Qingzu, I see, thank you, Master Xiao, for clearing up my doubts. Xiao Fan, you are welcome. Let Su Xiaoxiao continue to tell you the real business. I won't steal her limelight. Su Xiaoxiao, at Xiao Fan, hee, thank you, Lord Thunder Emperor. Su Xiaoxiao, at Lin Qingzu, I will continue to tell you the rest of the story. Soon, Xiaoxiao told Lin Qingzu's fate trajectory in full. Not only Lin Qingzu, but other people in the chat group also had a general understanding of the Wudong Qiankun world. After listening to Xiaoxiao's story, Lin Qingzu was deeply shocked. Lin Qingzu had never thought that she would have so many things happen with Lindong in the future, and she had never thought that the East Zhuan territory would suffer such a terrible disaster, and the 8 super sects were almost wiped out. However, these have not happened yet, and we can think of ways to deal with them in advance. Taking a deep breath, Lin Qingzu calmed down a little, and then sent a message of thanks to Xiaoxiao. Lin Qingzu, at Xiaoxiao, thank you Miss Su for your advice. Qingzu is very grateful. Xiaoxiao, you're welcome. I am following the call of Lord Thunder Emperor, and group members help each other. Finally, a reminder, don't be fooled when you get to the ancient tomb. Smirk. Lin Qingzu, thank you for the reminder. It's just a nirvana heart. I will look for it somewhere else. Qi World, Yunlin Sect. In the guest room, Xiao Fan looked at the message in the chat group, and pondered for a while, but he had some thoughts about this nirvana heart. Although absorbing the energy of the nirvana heart requires the harmony of yin and yang, this is not a problem at all. He can give this nirvana heart to his woman. Xiao Fan just used the authority of the group owner to check the strength and realm comparison of different worlds. The nirvana realm of the Wudong world is comparable to the Zong of the Qi world. Anyway, he has to sign into the Wudong world, so he might as well take this nirvana heart into his pocket. When the time comes, he will use the nirvana heart on Yun Yun, and the two will reconcile yin and yang. Isn't it the best of both worlds? Thinking in his heart, Xiao Fan directly expressed his thoughts in the group. Xiao Fan, at Lin Qingzu, Miss Ling, if you don't plan to absorb and use the nirvana heart, I plan to go to your world and take it back. Do you have any objection? Lin Qingzu, no objection. Xiaoxiao, at Xiao Fan, Mr. Xiao, with your current strength, the nirvana heart should not be of much use, right? Also, who are you going to find to help you reconcile yin and yang? Smirking, Xiao Fan, ahem, I'm going to give it to Yun Yun. This nirvana heart is just right for her at this stage. Yan Lingjai, at Xiao Fan, brother Xiao Fan, don't you love me anymore? Why don't you look for me? Sad, Wan, Lord Thunder Emperor, you can look for me. Shy, Xiaoxiao, I wanted to. Raising hands, Xiao Fan, stop it. This nirvana heart still has some energy. According to the comparison of the realms in the chat group, according to the realm of the martial arts world, it is only suitable to reach the realm of land immortals. If the realm is not enough, it will be burst if used. Xiaoxiao, I have reached it. Aggrieved, at the beginning, the group task triggered by Xiaoxiao had a total of 50 million points reward. Although Xiao Fan took the lion's share, Xiaoxiao also gained a lot, and her strength also broke through to the Emperor realm of the Demon Revival world, which is comparable to the realm of Duang. Among the group members, the only ones who are not weaker than her are Qian Renxu, Wang Teng, Xiao Fan, and Lin Qingzu who just joined. Xiao Fan looked at Xiaoxiao's message and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Xiaoxiao is also his woman, so it's not good to favor one over the other. After a little hesitation, he sent a message. Xiao Fan, at Xiaoxiao, how about this? When the time comes, I will refine this nirvana heart and give you half. Xiaoxiao, at Xiao Fan, thank you Lord Thunder Emperor, I love you. Blowing a kiss, Xiao Fan ignored her and at Lin Qingzu again. Xiao Fan, at Lin Qingzu, when you are going to the ancient tomb mansion, remember to let me know. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136, The Agreement with Lin Qingzu, Heading to the Zombie World. Lin Qingzu, at Xiao Fan, the younger generation of the 4 major clans have agreed to go to the ancient tomb mansion in 3 days. If Mr. Xiao is interested, he can come by then. Xiao Fan, okay, I will go then. Lin Qingzu, see you in 3 days. I have something else to do, so I will leave first." After Ling Qingzu finished speaking, she directly withdrew her consciousness from the chat group, thinking back to what Xiaoxiao and Xiao Fan had said before about the Yuan sect and the alien demons. She couldn't help but frown. However, in Ling Qingzu's heart, she was actually a little unsure, and to confirm all this, it is also very simple. Just wait for the trip to the ancient tomb mansion in 3 days. Thinking of this, Ling Qingzu gathered her mind, closed her eyes and began to practice. The chat group of the 10,000 worlds. The chat interface. Ling Qingzu's departure did not bring much impact to others. Yan Lingjai, at Xiao Fan, brother Xiao Fan, I also want to improve my strength. Is there any shortcut? Expectation. Xiao Fan, you have only been in the chat group for about a year, and you have already reached the heavenly man realm. Isn't that fast enough? If you hadn't joined the chat group, you might not even be able to reach the innate realm now. Spreading hands, Huangrong, I remember Xiaoxiao said that the original Yan Lingjai was captured and trapped in a crystal pool, at that time. Smirk, Tushan Huangrong, ah, this is too cruel. Surprised, Zhang Yuan, so scary. It seems that I still need to improve my strength as soon as possible. Only when I am strong can I avoid being bullied. Linjiayu, the people who captured Miss Yan Lingjai are too inhumane. Angry, Zialongyu. The world outside is too dangerous. Fortunately, I don't leave the ancient tomb. Yan Lingjai, at Huangrong, humph, bad Huangrong. You exposed my scars. However, that kind of thing will never happen again. With my current strength, it is not so easy to catch me. Moreover, if I am in danger, I can ask brother Xiao Fan for help. I am not afraid. Hee. Xiao Fan, Yan Lingjai is right. After everyone joins the group, their fate has changed. The original fate trajectory is only of some reference value. Xiaoxiao, Lord Thunder Emperor is right. At Linjiayu, by the way, Uncle Jiayu, have you gone to Renjia village to move the body of old Master Ren? Linjiayu, I received the invitation today and am preparing to go to Ren Mansion. Xiaoxiao, you have to be careful. Old Master Ren has turned into a zombie. In your world, his strength is not bad, and he is very murderous. He keeps killing people in Renjia town. If there is no external interference, your apprentice Wenkai would have been bitten by him and almost turned into a zombie. Zombie world. Linjiayu looked at the message sent by Xiaoxiao, and his face suddenly changed. Linjiayu didn't expect that it was just a small matter of moving the grave, but zombies would appear. Thinking of the situation where Wenkai almost turned into a zombie, Linjiayu subconsciously glanced at his apprentice Wenkai next to him, with a complicated expression. Master, what's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? Wenkai asked cautiously when he saw this. Linjiayu said calmly, nothing. When we get to the Ren family, we must be careful when we move the grave of the old man of the Ren family. Kaiyu Sheng smiled and said, Master, it's just moving a grave. What's there to worry about? Will Wenkai be scared by the corpse? Linjiayu said seriously, you will know when the time comes. You should also be careful, otherwise if something happens, don't blame me for not reminding you. After speaking, Linjiayu sank his consciousness into the chat interface again. Linjiayu, at Xiaoxiao, thank you Miss Su for reminding me. I will definitely be more careful. Xiao Fan, at Linjiayu, Taoist Lin, are you going to the Ren Mansion today? I was just thinking of going to your world to see what zombies look like. Linjiayu, at Xiao Fan, we will go to Ren's house tonight. If Mr. Xiao wants to come, he can, but Ms. Su said that the zombie is very dangerous. I'm afraid. Xiaoxiao, at Linjiayu, Uncle Jiayu, don't worry, the zombie is dangerous only to you. Lord Thunder Emperor can kill it with just a flick of his finger. If Lord Thunder Emperor is willing to take action, you will not be in any danger. Seeing Xiaoxiao's message, Linjiayu's heart moved slightly. Linjiayu, at Xiao Fan, in this case, Lord Thunder Emperor is welcome to come. If Lord Thunder Emperor can help and prevent zombies from harming people, Lin will be grateful. Xiao Fan, at Linjiayu, after I have seen the zombie, I will naturally help you get rid of it. It's just a zombie. Xiao Fan doesn't take it seriously. Especially Xiao Fan majored in thunder magic, and any thunderbolt can split the zombie into charcoal. Linjiayu, when will Lord Thunder Emperor come? Xiao Fan, are you going to Ren's house soon? If so, I'll go there now. Lin Jiayu, okay, then I will invite Lord Thunder Emperor. After Lin Jiayu finished replying, he directly invited Xiao Fan through the chat group. Xiao Fan did not need the invitation of the group members to directly travel to the other world. However, since Lin Jiayu invited him, Xiao Fan also agreed to his invitation and traveled directly to the zombie world through the Wanji chat group. Zombie world. Lin Jiayu had just invited Xiao Fan when he suddenly remembered that he had two disciples around him, so he greeted them in advance. Kai Sheng, Wen Kai, there will be a distinguished guest coming soon. You two should be more cautious, okay? Kai Sheng asked curiously. Master, what distinguished guest? Aren't we going to Renjia town to do business soon? How come a distinguished guest suddenly appeared? Wen Kai followed up. Yes, Master, you didn't say there was any distinguished guest before? I didn't see you contacting other people. How come there was a distinguished guest suddenly? Lin Jiayu said, it's hard to explain in one or two sentences. Anyway, this distinguished guest is very important. Before Lin Jiayu finished speaking, he saw an illusory light gate suddenly appear in the sky not far from them. From the light gate, a young man in a green shirt stepped out and stepped down from midair. This was naturally Xiao Fan, who came from the Qi world. Could it be a god? When Kai saw this scene and suddenly widened his eyes and cried out in shock. Kai Sheng's face was also filled with shock. Master, the distinguished guest you mentioned, could this be him? Could it be the founder of Mount Ma'ashan who invited? Lin Jiayu was actually also very shocked in his heart, but he didn't want to lose his composure in front of his disciples and distinguished guests, so he pretended to be calm and said, you two should behave yourself. This is indeed the distinguished guest I was talking about. After teaching his two disciples a lesson, Lin Jiayu clasped his fists towards Xiao Fan and said politely, welcome Lord Thunder Emperor. Xiao Fan smiled slightly. Master Lin, there's no need to be so polite. Just call me Xiao Fan. Lin Jiayu hesitated and said, then I'll call you young Master Xiao like everyone else. By the way, young Master Xiao, let me introduce you to these two, my disciples, Kai Sheng and Wen Kai. After introducing Xiao Fan, Lin Jiayu said loudly to Kai Sheng and Wen Kai, Kai Sheng, Wen Kai, why don't you come and pay your respects to young Master Xiao? Chapter 137 Sign In Again, Movement in the Night. Yes, Master. Kai Sheng and Wen Kai agreed, and also stepped forward and bowed respectfully to Xiao Fan. Greetings, Master Xiao. Xiao Fan waved his hand. No need to be so polite. Next, Xiao Fan and Lin Jiayu and his apprentice rushed to the Ren family. While rushing on the road, Xiao Fan asked Lin Jiayu, have you discussed with the head of the Ren family when to open the coffin? Lin Jiayu said, tomorrow. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. It seems that we have to wait until tomorrow night to see zombies. The two chatted while rushing to the Ren family. Not long after, they arrived at the Ren family. Master Ren and his daughter Ren Tingting were waiting at the gate of the mansion. When they saw Lin Jiayu and Xiao Fan and his group coming, Master Ren immediately greeted them with a smile on his face. Uncle Jiayu, you are finally here. Lin Jiayu is still quite famous in this area. In Master Ren's eyes, Lin Jiayu is the one he values the most. Lin Jiayu nodded slightly. Since I have promised Master Ren, I will arrive on time. However, Master Ren, are you sure you want to move your father's coffin? Once the ground is broken tomorrow, it will be too late to regret it. Master Ren hurriedly said, of course, I have thought about it. I will trouble Uncle Jiayu tomorrow. Lin Jiayu nodded slightly and said nothing more. Since Master Ren has made the decision, he doesn't need to say anything more. Then, Master Ren politely led Lin Jiayu and Xiao Fan and his party to the Ren mansion and entertained them warmly. However, Master Ren's daughter Ren Tingting was not very interested in Lin Jiayu and his party, thinking that they were simply swindling, especially when she saw Kai Sheng and Wen Kai constantly stealing glances at her. Ren Tingting was even more suspicious of Lin Jiayu and his party. However, Master Ren had already made a decision, and Ren Tingting's persuasion was useless several times, so she stopped talking nonsense. Dad, guests, I'm sorry, I feel a little uncomfortable, so I'll leave first. Ren Tingting hesitated for a while, stood up and said directly to Master Ren, Xiao Fan and others. After saying that, Without waiting for everyone to respond, Ren Tingting walked away with her long legs. Haha, my little girl has been spoiled by me. I'm sorry to make you laugh. Master Ren saw this and hurriedly smiled to Xiao Fan and Lin Jiayu. Lin Jiayu said, Master Ren, you are too polite. After the banquet, Master Ren personally arranged accommodation for Lin Jiayu and Xiao Fan, and then said goodbye and left. Xiao Fan and Lin Jiayu said something to each other, and then entered the guest room. Master, where does this Mr. Xiao come from? He can't really be the founder of Ma'ashan from the upper world. After Xiao Fan returned to his room, Kai Yusheng couldn't help but whispered to Lin Jiayu. Wen Kai was also full of curiosity. Is there really an upper realm? Lin Jiayu pondered for a moment, and slowly said, Master has obtained an opportunity. Immediately, Lin Jiayu simply explained the chat group to Wen Kai and Kai Yusheng. Lin Jiayu still trusted his two disciples very much, so there was nothing he couldn't tell them, and he didn't think there was anything to hide. So magical? Wen Kai and Kai Yusheng were shocked when they heard Lin Jiayu's words. Lin Jiayu warned, don't mention this matter to outsiders, so as not to cause unnecessary trouble. If Mr. Xiao wants to trouble you, your master can't protect you. Kai Yusheng and Wen Kai looked at each other and said quickly, Master, don't worry, we will definitely keep it a secret. Okay, go to bed early, we still have to do serious work tomorrow. Lin Jiayu told Kai Yusheng and Wen Kai again, and then went back to the room to rest. At this time, Xiao Fan was in the guest room, but he was not in a hurry to rest. Every time a new member joins the group, Xiao Fan can get a sign-in opportunity. Now that he has come to the zombie world, Xiao Fan will naturally not miss this sign-in opportunity. System, sign in. Xiao Fan had just given the system a command when the familiar mechanical prompt sound of the system rang in his mind again. Ding. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained a Thunder Yuan. Note, after taking it, a Thunder attribute cultivator can improve the cultivator's strength to a certain extent. Hearing the content of the system reward, Xiao Fan couldn't help but feel a little happy. Among the various rewards, Xiao Fan's favorite is the one that improves the strength of cultivation. After all, with the improvement of Xiao Fan's cultivation level, using the chat group points to improve cultivation is no longer enough. If Xiao Fan relies on hard work to cultivate, it is unknown how long it will take to break through each realm. After a slight hesitation, Xiao Fan directly took out the Thunder Yuan from the system space and took it. Anyway, now that he has nothing to do, it just happens to improve his cultivation. Just after taking the Thunder Yuan, Xiao Fan sensed a huge and pure energy pouring into his body, flowing wildly in his meridians, and finally gathered in his danshan. Xiao Fan immediately started to use the Thunder Emperor technique without any hesitation, quickly refining and absorbing the power of the elixir. As Xiao Fan absorbed and refined, his aura gradually strengthened. A quarter of an hour later, Xiao Fan's cultivation level was upgraded from the previous 5-star Zun to the 6-star Zun realm. After another half an hour, Xiao Fan's cultivation level was upgraded again, reaching the 7-star Zun realm. Until then, the power of the Thunder Yuan pill was finally completely refined and absorbed by him. 7-star Zun. In such a short time, he has increased his cultivation level by 2 stars, which is very good. After sensing his current cultivation level, Xiao Fan nodded slightly, feeling very satisfied. What Xiao Fan didn't know was that during the process of refining the Thunder Yuan pill and breaking through, the faint aura that was accidentally leaked out had already shocked Lin Jiayu and his apprentice beyond measure. In the guest room, Lin Jiayu was not sleeping, but resting his eyes with his eyes closed. Suddenly, he sensed the dangerous thunder aura and suddenly opened his eyes with surprise in his eyes. Kai Yusheng and Wen Kai were so frightened that they trembled and ran directly to Lin Jiayu's room. Master, what a terrifying aura! Kai Yusheng ran to Lin Jiayu and said in fear. Wen Kai also nodded repeatedly. Yes, this aura is much stronger than some of the ghosts we dealt with before. Although Lin Jiayu was also shocked, he was relatively calm. He quickly sensed that the aura came from Xiao Fan's guest room, so he said lightly, "You don't have to worry, it's the aura coming from Mr. Xiao's room." It seems that Mr. Xiao accidentally transmitted the fluctuations while practicing. Kai Yusheng and Wen Kai heard this, and then they breathed a sigh of relief. They looked at each other and said in unison, This Mr. Xiao is too powerful, isn't he? Lin Jiayu nodded slightly, without saying anything, but he agreed with what the two said in his heart. Before, in the chat group, Xiaoxiao called Xiao Fan Lord Thunder Emperor, and Lin Jiayu didn't quite understand it, but after sensing the wisps of thunder aura, Lin Jiayu seemed to understand a little. The power of thunder has a great restraint on ghosts and monsters, so Lin Jiayu was not so worried about the zombies that were about to appear. At the same time, in a wilderness area in Renji town, a mound of earth on a tomb suddenly began to stir. Soon, the soil on the tomb rolled to both sides, revealing a somewhat rotten coffin. Chapter 138. Zombies appear and everyone is terrified. Then, the lid of the coffin was suddenly opened from the inside. A corpse that looked somewhat similar to Master Ren sat up stiffly from the coffin, and then jumped to the ground. This scene looked very eerie and terrifying under the night sky. There is no doubt that this is the body of Master Ren, and it has turned into a zombie. Master Ren's body has actually been a zombie for some time, and he is very familiar with the situation of the Ren family. Just now, Master Ren sensed that there was a dangerous thunderous breath coming from the Ren family, so he quietly pushed open the coffin and prepared to hide. He wanted to wait for the powerful breath to leave, and then return to the Ren family to find his descendants to replenish blood. Soon, the zombie that Master Ren turned into jumped away from the location of the tomb, found a charity cemetery with a strong yin aura, opened one of the coffins at random, hid in it, and then closed the lid of the coffin again. Nothing happened that night. The next morning, Master Ren had a sumptuous breakfast prepared for Xiao Fan, Lin Jiayu and his party. Then, Master Ren asked his servants to carry the sacrificial items that had been prepared long ago, and went to the location of Master Ren's grave. Of course, Xiao Fan and Lin Jiayu's party naturally followed. Soon, a large group of people arrived at the location of Master Ren's grave. When they saw the dug-open grave and the empty coffin, everyone's face suddenly changed. Master Ren shouted loudly, "Asshole, which shady guy actually dug my father's grave?" Lin Jiayu looked at the empty grave and frowned. No matter what era, digging people's ancestral graves is a very immoral thing. Xiao Fan looked at Master Ren's grave with interest. Master Ren had become a zombie. If someone dug his grave, wouldn't that be courting death? Moreover, the situation around it did not look like there were signs of damage from the outside. Could it be that old Master Ren crawled out and ran away? There doesn't seem to be such a plot in the original novel. Xiao Fan looked at the situation around the two men, thought silently in his heart. At this time, Master Ren was furious and scolded the servants to disperse and look for traces immediately. Then, Master Ren walked to Lin Jiayu and said with a sad face, "Uncle Jiayu, I wonder if you have any way to find my father's body?" Lin Jiayu pondered for a moment and said slowly, "I can try the tracking talisman, but old Master Ren has been dead for many years. His blood, body, clothes, etc. are gone. I'm afraid it will be difficult to achieve the effect." Master Ren said, "In any case, please help Uncle Jiayu." Lin Jiayu nodded slightly. "Don't worry, I will." Next, the servants of the Ren family searched for the body of old Master Ren with all their strength, and Lin Jiayu also tried to cast a Taoist spell to find it. However, after searching for a long time, there was no effect. Xiao Fan also followed Lin Jiayu and his apprentice, watching Lin Jiayu cast the spell, which was a different experience from watching TV in the previous life. When Xiao Fan and Lin Jiayu approached a charity cemetery, Xiao Fan's heart suddenly moved slightly, because he sensed the existence of an energy body that was obviously beyond ordinary people, and that energy revealed a sinister aura. It seems that the old man Ren is in this charity cemetery. Thinking in his heart, Xiao Fan said to Lin Jiayu, "Master Lin, I sense that there seems to be some unusual aura in this charity cemetery. Why don't we go to the charity cemetery to check it out?" "Okay." Lin Jiayu had no doubts about Xiao Fan's ability. Hearing Xiao Fan's words, he immediately nodded and agreed. So the four of them stepped into the charity cemetery, and behind them were several servants of the Ren family who followed. After entering the charity cemetery, Xiao Fan sensed it slightly, and with a wave of his hand, an invisible force directly opened one of the coffins. In the coffin, there was a stiff corpse. "Ah, isn't that the old man?" But, The old man has been dead for so many years, how come the body is still so intact? Which wicked guy dug out the old man's body and hid it here? Go and inform the old man. Seeing the body in the coffin, the servants of the Ren family who followed behind couldn't help but exclaimed. Amid the exclamations, one of the servants hurried to find Master Ren to report the news. Lin Jiayu was also shocked, thinking of Su Xiaoxiao's reminder in the chat group yesterday. Lin Jiayu looked at Master Ren with a solemn look in his eyes. After a careful inspection, Lin Jiayu found that Master Ren had indeed become a zombie. Master, what's going on? Could Master Ren have become a zombie? Seeing the appearance of Master Ren, Kai Yusheng on the side asked Lin Jiayu nervously. Lin Jiayu said in a deep voice, I'm afraid that's the case. You all have to be careful later. After telling Kai Yusheng and Wen Kai, Lin Jiayu took out a yellow talisman from his body, muttered something in his mouth for a while, and prepared to stick the talisman on the forehead of old Master Ren. At this moment, old Master Ren seemed to sense the danger, opened his eyes suddenly, jumped out of the coffin, and avoided Lin Jiayu's action. Uncle Jiayu, what's going on? Master Ren, who had just been notified by the servants to rush here, happened to see this scene. His face suddenly changed and he exclaimed. Ren Tingting also widened her eyes, her face full of disbelief. This is too unscientific. Lin Jiayu said in a deep voice, old Master Ren has now become a zombie. Last night, he might have crawled out of the grave and moved to this charity cemetery. Master Ren was shocked and said, how could this happen? What should we do now? Master Ren had heard a lot of rumors about zombies and knew how scary zombies were, but he was a little panicked at this moment. Lin Jiayu said, there is only one way now, that is to cremate old Master Ren's body. Roar! When old Master Ren heard Lin Jiayu's words, he let out an angry roar from his stiff mouth. Master Ren hesitated. Uncle Jiayu, is there no other way? Since ancient times, people have always emphasized burying their fathers in peace. If my father is burned to ashes, that would be too. Ding ding. While Lin Jiayu and Master Ren were talking, old Master Ren suddenly jumped up and instantly came to Ren Tingting's side, biting down on Ren Tingting's neck. Faced with this sudden change, Ren Tingting screamed in fear and no longer said anything superstitious. Miss Ren, be careful. Wen Kai shouted and quickly stood between old Master Ren and Ren Tingting. Old Master Ren was blocked by Wen Kai, and seemed to be a little angry, and bit Wen Kai directly. Wen Kai, get out of the way. Seeing this, Lin Jiayu's face changed drastically. He shouted loudly and threw out the talisman quickly, trying to seal old Master Ren and prevent him from committing crimes. However, it was too late. Boom! At this time, a thunderous sound suddenly sounded in the charity cemetery. A thunder force suddenly hit old Master Ren. Chapter 139 A Thunderous Strike, Returning to the World of Fighting Spirit. Roar! 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 Old Master Ren was hit by the power of thunder, and he kept roaring in pain and anger. He didn't care about attacking Wen Kai, and turned around to escape from the charity cemetery. Thank you, Master Xiao, for saving me. Lin Jiayu was relieved when he saw that Wen Kai was not bitten by the zombie old Master Ren, and he thanked Xiao Fan. That's right, it was Xiao Fan who attacked just now. Xiao Fan's attack just now only stopped old Master Ren from hurting people, and he didn't directly get rid of him, but he planned to see this legendary zombie for a while. On the other hand, Xiao Fan decided to let old Master Ren put some pressure and threats on the people of the Ren family, so that they would not think that this zombie was easy to deal with. At the same time, Xiao Fan also wanted to see how the famous Uncle Jiayu fought against the zombie. Xiao Fan now had a completely playful attitude. Master Lin Jiayu and his apprentice did not dare to relax in the face of this zombie, especially Wen Kai, who was almost bitten by the zombie just now, and he was still scared at this moment. Thank you, Master Xiao. Seeing Lin Jiayu thanking Xiao Fan, Wen Kai also reacted and hurriedly stepped forward to thank Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan waved his hand and said, it's just a small favor, no need to be polite, you should first find a way to deal with the zombie. Seeing that old Master Ren was about to flee outside the charity cemetery, Lin Jiayu didn't care about being polite and bowed to Xiao Fan, then hurriedly chased after old Master Ren and used the talisman to attack again. Roar! Old Master Ren roared angrily, dodging the talisman flexibly while approaching Lin Jiayu, wanting to use his physical advantage to fight Lin Jiayu at close range. However, Lin Jiayu knew that he could not compare with the zombie in terms of physical strength, so he deliberately distanced himself from Old Master Ren and only used the talisman magic to attack. However, the talisman magic rarely attacked Old Master Ren, and did not cause much damage except making Old Master Ren more angry. The two sides were in a stalemate for a while. "Master, I'll help you," Kai Sheng shouted, and attacked Old Master Ren from behind. "Miss Ren, be careful, I'm going to help my master too," Wen Kai said to Ren Tingting beside him, and then rushed forward. Although Kai Sheng and Wen Kai each had their own little problems, they were still good at doing things. Roar! Old Master Ren couldn't do anything to Lin Jiayu, and was already very angry. Sensing the sneak attack from Kai Sheng and Wen Kai from behind, he became even more angry. He roared and took the initiative to hit Kai Sheng. Bang! With a muffled sound, Kai Sheng was directly hit by Old Master Ren and flew backwards, falling heavily to the ground. Then, Old Master Ren made his palm into a claw shape and grabbed Wen Kai's neck. "Stop!" Seeing this, Lin Jiayu shouted fiercely, waved his hand and threw a talisman at Old Master Ren. Old Master Ren seemed to sense the threat of the talisman, so he had to give up Wen Kai and retreat to one side. Wen Kai and Kai Sheng couldn't help but feel like they had survived a disaster. Suddenly, Kai Sheng thought of what Lin Jiayu said before, that Xiao Fan was extremely powerful, and last night, they also sensed the aura coming from Xiao Fan's room. Especially just now, they saw with their own eyes that Xiao Fan casually hit the zombie Old Master Ren and injured him, making him want to escape. Kai Sheng's mind changed. He endured the pain in his body and staggered to Xiao Fan. "Mr. Xiao, you are so powerful, can you please help my master?" Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Didn't Mr. Ren ask to preserve his father's body before? If I kill the zombie, this zombie will turn into charcoal." Wen Kai said, "That would be the best. He won't come out to harm people again." Kai Sheng also nodded and said, "That's right, please help me, Mr. Xiao." Upon hearing this, Mr. Ren hurriedly said, "No, we can't destroy my father's body." Xiao Fan didn't have a good attitude towards Mr. Ren. "If Mr. Ren insists on doing so, then we will have to leave. As for the zombie that Old Master Ren turned into, it's up to you to deal with it." Upon hearing this, Kai Sheng immediately said, "Mr. Xiao is right. Didn't you see how terrible that zombie is? My master can't do anything about it. If we let it escape, I don't know how many people in Renji town will be killed by it in the future." Ren Tingting said at this time, "Dad, don't be stubborn. There are many people in foreign countries who are cremated directly after death. There is nothing wrong with this. If Grandpa has a spirit, he certainly doesn't want to become a zombie after his death and harm people everywhere." Bang! At this moment, Lin Jiayu, who was fighting with the zombie Old Master Ren, was accidentally knocked out by Old Master Ren, and broke several coffins in succession before finally stabilizing his body. Old Master Ren seemed to be completely enraged and did not choose to run away. He roared and rushed towards Ren Tingting again, and opened his fangs, trying to bite Ren Tingting. Ren Tingting was frightened and screamed when she saw this. After watching for a while, Xiao Fan had some understanding of zombies. Perhaps because the level of this zombie was too low, it did not have the terrible methods he had heard of in his previous life. As for Lin Jiayu's fighting methods, there were only a limited number of them. Since there was no good show to watch, Xiao Fan was too lazy to waste time. With a wave of his hand, a giant hand of thunder suddenly appeared in the charity cemetery. There were arcs of lightning flashing on the giant hand of thunder, and it instantly reached above Old Master Ren, and then it suddenly clenched and directly held Old Master Ren in the giant hand of thunder. Crackle! The purple lightning full of dangerous atmosphere kept flashing, making bursts of crisp sounds. Roar! 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 Old Master Ren kept roaring in pain, trying to break free from the giant hand of thunder. However, with his ability, how could he break free from the giant hand of thunder? In an instant, the zombie Old Master Ren, who was originally majestic, turned into a ball of charcoal under the attack of thunder power. On the charcoal, there were sporadic arcs of lightning flashing. It's a long story, but it's actually just a matter of a moment. When Ren Tingting saw that old Master Ren turned into charcoal, she immediately reached out and patted her chest, and breathed a long sigh of relief. Master Ren had a complicated look, but at this time, he was very sensible. "Thank you, Master Xiao, for saving my daughter," Xiao Fan said lightly. "Master Ren will not blame me for destroying the body of Master Ren." Master Ren smiled awkwardly and said quickly, "I dare not, I dare not." Master Ren really did not dare. Xiao Fan's thunder method just now was too terrifying. He did not want to be hit by Xiao Fan, Kai Yusheng and Wen Kai also surrounded Xiao Fan at this time. Wen Kai's face was full of admiration. "Master Xiao, you are so amazing," Kai Yusheng continued. Yes, yes. Are you from the Longwu Mountain Tanshai Mansion?" In their impression, the one who is good at using thunder magic is naturally the Longwu Mountain Tanshai Mansion. Xiao Fan smiled faintly. "You think too much. It's not just the Tanshai Mansion that controls the power of thunder." "Well, now that the matter has been resolved, I should go back." Lin Jiayu tried to persuade him. "Mr. Xiao, I wanted to invite you to my home." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Let's talk about it next time we have a chance." Hearing this, Lin Jiayu had no choice but to say, "Then Mr. Xiao, I'll see you off." Immediately, the two of them left the charity cemetery together. After avoiding the sight of other people, Xiao Fan said something to Lin Jiayu, and then used the shuttle function of the chat group directly to return to the Qi world. "Uncle Jiayu, I wonder who this Mr. Xiao is?" After Lin Jiayu returned to the charity cemetery, Master Ren asked cautiously. Chapter 140 Xiao Duo comes online. Guhi feels guilty. Qi world. Yunlan sect. In the guest room, Yun sat on Xiao Fan's bed, her expression slightly complicated, and she murmured, "Is he gone again?" Yun sent someone to call Xiao Fan for dinner in the morning, and soon the people below reported to her that Xiao Fan was not in the room. At first, Yun thought Xiao Fan had gone out for a walk, but after some sensing and investigation, she did not find any trace of Xiao Fan, so Yun thought Xiao Fan had left. The last time Xiao Fan came to Yunlan sect, he stayed for more than a month, but this time, he left again not long after he came, and he didn't even say goodbye to her. This made Yun feel a little disappointed. "What did you say he left again?" At this moment, a familiar voice sounded in Yun's ears. Hearing that voice, Yun subconsciously showed a little joy in her expression, and then quickly restrained it. Yun raised her head slightly, and saw Xiao Fan standing beside her, looking at her with a smile, and her face couldn't help but blush slightly. Yun did not answer Xiao Fan's question, but asked directly, "Where did you go so early in the morning?" Xiao Fan smiled slightly. "I was just strolling around casually." "Why, did you miss me after not seeing me for a night?" Yun rolled her eyes at Xiao Fan in a charming way. "Don't talk nonsense. Who missed you? It's just that the people downstairs invited you to dinner, and found that you were not in the guest room, so they thought you had left, so I came to see you." Xiao Fan stepped forward and hugged Yun in his arms, and said softly, "Even if I want to leave, I must tell you, I won't leave without saying goodbye." Yun said stubbornly, Who cares about you?" But Yun felt very happy in her heart. Xiao Fan did not expose Yun's little thoughts, and smiled. "You don't care about me, I will care about you? Okay, let's go. Take me to appreciate the scenery of Yunlan sect." Yun nodded slightly, and then went out of the room with Xiao Fan and wandered around the Yunlan sect. Xiao Fan held Yun's hand, looking like a fairy couple, which made others envious. Xiao Fan and Yun were enjoying the scenery at the back of Yunlan sect when suddenly a middle-aged man in his 40s dressed in elder's clothes came towards them. Guhi greets Master Yun. After the man arrived, he took the initiative to bow to Yun, but paid more attention to Xiao Fan. Yun said, "Elder Guhi is too polite. What do you want to talk to me about?" Guhi pondered for a moment and said slowly, "I want to leave Yunlan sect and go to Qi continent to train and try to make another breakthrough in the way of alchemy." In fact, it was because Guhi learned that Xiao Fan and Yun were engaged, and Xiao Fan and Yun often went out together in Yunlan sect, which made Guhi, who liked Yun, feel very uncomfortable. Although Guhi would not do anything mean, he could not avoid feeling uncomfortable. So, Guhi prepared to leave Yunlan sect, out of sight, Out of mind. Gu He was only an honorary elder invited by Yun Shan, not a formal member. This time, he had decided not to come back. However, on the surface, Gu He's words were not so decisive. Yun heard Gu He's words, her expression changed slightly, and she persuaded him. Elder Gu He, if you need anything in alchemy, Yunlan sect will definitely support you with all your strength. Why bother to go far away and seek a breakthrough outside? Gu He, as a 6th-grade alchemist and the most famous Dan King in the Jiama Empire, has helped Yunlan sect a lot, both in terms of reputation and actual benefits. Therefore, Yun naturally did not want Gu He to leave Yunlan sect. Gu He shook his head and said, Yunlan sect can't help me. I'm sorry, Master Yun, please forgive Gu He's selfishness. This, Yun looked at Gu He with a firm attitude, and for a moment she didn't know how to dissuade him. At this time, Xiao Fan smiled and said to Yun, Yunner, please step aside first. I want to talk to Elder Gu He alone. Yun was puzzled and said, is there anything I can't know? Xiao Fan smiled and said, things between men. Gu He's eyes flashed slightly, and then said, Gu also wants to talk to Master Xiao. Yun looked at Xiao Fan and Gu He separately, and said to Xiao Fan, don't be violent. Yun knew that Xiao Fan was powerful. If Xiao Fan used his strength to force Gu He to stay, it would have no practical significance for Yunlan sect. Xiao Fan casually said, don't worry, I know what to do. Yun heard this, hesitated for a moment, and turned away. After Yun left, Gu He looked at Xiao Fan and said faintly, Master Xiao, Gu really envies you. Xiao Fan chuckled, I know you envy, but envy is useless. Emotional matters cannot be forced. Gu He's expression froze slightly when he heard Xiao Fan's words. Xiao Fan seemed not to notice the change in Gu He's expression, and continued, in fact, you want to leave Yunlan sect only because I am with Yun, and you have no chance anymore, right? Gu He said lightly, so what? I really have always liked Master Yun. Xiao Fan shook his head slightly, you have been in Yunlan sect for quite a few years, and you have not been able to impress Yun's heart for so many years. What's the point of silently liking her? Even if I am not there, someone else will snatch Yun away. Humphrey, Master Xiao left Gu alone. Is it to mock me? Gu He heard this, his face was very ugly, and he snorted coldly. Xiao Fan smiled lightly, you think too much. Is there any benefit from me mocking you? What I want to say is that men should be more open-minded, and know how to let go if they like someone. As long as the other person is happy, that's enough. Unless your love for Yun is fake, it's just possessiveness. Gu He's face flushed when he heard this, and he retorted, you are talking nonsense. I have no intention of blaspheming Master Yun. Haha, old dog. Xiao Fan smiled secretly in his heart, but said, that's right, as long as Yun is happy, you should be happy for her. Gu He said, I never thought of destroying the relationship between Master Yun and you, because I can see that she really likes you. Even a fool can see it. Xiao Fan thought in his heart, and said, I would like to thank Elder Gu He for his generosity. However, if you leave like this, the people of Yunlan sect will definitely say that Yun and I forced you away. I don't care, but aren't you harming Yun by doing this? Gu He said in a deep voice, how dare the people of Yunlan sect disrespect their master? Xiao Fan shook his head slightly, even if they don't say it in front of you, won't they say it behind your back? If people's hearts are scattered, it will be difficult to lead the team. You still say that you like Yun. Isn't this harming her? Gu He felt a little guilty when he heard this, and felt that if he left like this, it seemed that Yun was indeed trapped in injustice, but it was really a bit reluctant for him to stay like this. Moreover, he just said he was leaving, and now he changed his words, which seemed a bit inappropriate. Xiao Fan looked at Gu He and gave him a way out. By the way, Elder Gu He said he wanted to seek a breakthrough in alchemy. I might be able to provide you with some help. Of course, the premise is that Elder Gu He wants to continue to stay in Yunlan sect. What do you think? Gu He was a little skeptical and said, you are not even an alchemist. How can you help me? Chapter 141 Yun Sincerity. Heading to the martial arts world. Xiao Fan smiled faintly. The conditions that an alchemist needs to meet include his own attributes, alchemy materials, fire, and soul perception. Let's not talk about other aspects first. As for the soul, I have a method that can cultivate the soul. When your soul level is improved, it will be much easier to improve the alchemist level. Gu He was shocked when he heard this. What? You have a soul cultivation method? Soul cultivation methods are almost extinct on the Qi continent. Even the top vision of Anta and the 8 ancient clans only have a very small number of lower-level soul cultivation methods. Although Gu He is famous in the Jiama Empire, he is nothing in the entire Qi continent and has no chance to come into contact with soul cultivation methods. Hearing that Xiao Fan has a soul cultivation method, he is naturally very shocked. Xiao Fan said casually, "Not bad. Do you want to consider my conditions?" In Xiao Fan's view, the current Yunlin sect is his own power, and it is still necessary to attract a 6th-grade alchemist with decent talent for his power. Xiao Fan was going to give Gu He a copy of the soul condensation technique. That soul condensation technique could only cultivate the soul to the level of spiritual perfection, but it was not very useful to Xiao Fan. Gu He pondered and said, "Mr. Xiao, can you lend it to me first?" Gu He was a little skeptical about the truth of Xiao Fan's words. Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he took out the scroll of the soul condensation technique from the ring and handed it to Gu He. "Here you go." "Thank you." Gu He thanked him and took the scroll with both hands. He had more confidence in Xiao Fan's words, and at the same time, he had some good feelings for Xiao Fan's generosity. Xiao Fan was not worried that Gu He would regret reading the scroll. After all, just reading it once would not easily understand all the contents of the scroll, and he could not even remember them all. After Gu He thanked him, he took the scroll and quickly browsed it. Just a simple browse. Gu He could not help but feel surprised. This technique can actually improve the strength of the soul. Xiao Fan looked at Gu He's expression and said calmly, "How is it, Elder Gu He? Are you willing to agree to my conditions?" Gu He reluctantly withdrew his eyes from the scroll and said slowly, "Mr. Xiao is so kind to me. If Gu He refuses again, he will be ungrateful. I am willing to stay in Yunlan sect." Xiao Fan waved his hand and said, "Okay, there is no need to say more polite words. You will stay in Yunlan sect in the future. In addition to improving yourself, you must not forget to contribute to Yunlan sect's alchemy. It is not good to eat without working." Gu He nodded and said, "No problem. I'll leave first. You can go back directly. I will explain your affairs to Yun Yun." Xiao Fan said casually and turned away. Gu He looked at Xiao Fan's back, hesitated for a while, and reminded him, "Mr. Xiao, this scroll of skills, keep it for yourself. I will stay in Yunlan sect for a few days. After you have used it, just return it to me." Xiao Fan's voice came, and the person had gone far away quickly. Gu He looked at the direction where Xiao Fan left, and couldn't help but admire Xiao Fan. He shook his head slightly, then took the scroll and returned to his residence. Xiao Fan went directly to find Yun Yun. Gu He has agreed to continue to stay in Yunlin sect. Yun Yun was surprised to hear this. "Really? What did you say to him?" Xiao Fan said, "Nothing. I just gave him a soul cultivation method." "What? Soul cultivation method?" Yun Yun was shocked when she heard Xiao Fan's words. Although she had never seen such a method, Yun Yun knew the preciousness of soul cultivation methods, especially for alchemists. Yun Yun was moved by Xiao Fan's efforts for her. She looked at Xiao Fan and said affectionately, "Xiao Fan, thank you." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Just a verbal thank you. Isn't it too insincere?" Yun Yun said, "Then what is considered sincerity?" Xiao Fan pointed to his lips. "At least you should show it, right?" Yun Yun rolled her eyes at Xiao Fan in a charming way, still blushing, and touched Xiao Fan's lips. Of course, Xiao Fan would not let it go, and he directly hugged Yun Yun in his arms and took the initiative to respond. After more than an hour, the battle finally ended. Yun Yun was beaten by Xiao Fan until tears welled up in the corners of her eyes, and she gently hit Xiao Fan's shoulder. "You are so bad, and you took advantage of others again." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "How did I take advantage of you?" "It was obviously you who took advantage of me." Yun Yun frowned and said, "What advantage did I take of you?" Xiao Fan leaned close to Yun Yun's ear and whispered, "Didn't I give it to you?" Yun Yun's face turned redder when she heard Xiao Fan's words. The two of them were affectionate for a while, and then they dressed neatly and went out to hang out again to kill time. In the next 2 days, The two spent most of their time like this. During this period, Xiao Fan would also give Yuan some pointers on her cultivation. Yuan has now switched to practicing the skills and fighting techniques deduced and created by Xiao Fan, so Xiao Fan's guidance is naturally handy. Under Xiao Fan's guidance, Yuan's cultivation has also become much smoother, because Xiao Fan had used the soul condensation technique to retain Gu He. Yuan was more grateful to Xiao Fan and no longer bothered about his identity. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was the day that Xiao Fan and Ling Qingzu had agreed on. That morning, after Xiao Fan and Yuan had breakfast together, he sensed that someone in the chat group had added him, so he told Yuan that he had something to do and would leave for a while, and would be back soon. Afterwards, Xiao Fan found a random location in the back mountain of Yunlin sect, immersed his consciousness in the Wanji chat group, and saw the messages in the chat group. Ling Qingzu, at Xiao Fan, Mr. Xiao, I am about to set off for the ancient tomb mansion. Are you free to come now? Xiaoxiao, at Ling Qingzu, you must be careful, don't go down the original path at that time, being taken advantage of by others. Smirk, Yan Lingjai, at Ling Qingzu, Miss Ling, I also want to go treasure hunting. Can you take me with you? Expectation. Huang Rong, count me in too. Rubbing hands. Wan. Me, I'll go too. Raising hands. The world of martial universe. Danyan Mountains. A secluded place. Ling Qingzu looked at the messages from several people in the group and couldn't help but frown slightly. After pondering for a while, Ling Qingzu still declined the requests of several people. Ling Qingzu, the ancient tomb mansion is an agreement by the 4 major clans of the Great Yan dynasty to jointly explore. I represent the Huangfu family. If I bring too many people, I'm afraid the other 3 major families will unite against us. I'm not afraid, but it will bring a lot of trouble to the Huangfu family, so I'm sorry. Next time there is a chance, I will invite you to come and play again. Xiao Fan, at Ling Qingzu, got it? I'll be there right away. Xiao Fan, at Yan Lingjai, at Huang Rong, at Wan. Let's get together again next time there is a chance. The world where Miss Ling is actually still a little dangerous. Even I have to be careful when I go there. Yan Lingjai, at Xiao Fan, okay, I will listen to brother Xiao Fan, but you should be careful. Hug, Huang Rong, I will listen to brother Xiao Fan too. Wan, I will listen to Lord Thunder Emperor, so I won't cause trouble for Miss Ling. Ling Qingzu, thank you Mr. Xiao and everyone for your understanding. At Xiao Fan, I invite you now. After Ling Qingzu finished speaking, she directly invited Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan did not hesitate and agreed to Ling Qingzu's invitation. In an instant, he traveled to the martial arts world. Chapter 142. Everyone shows off their special abilities and enters the ancient tomb. Martial world. Danyan Mountains. Xiao Fan had just come here through the chat group, and the first thing that caught his eye was a blue lotus that looked quite magical. On the blue lotus, there was a graceful curve. Although the face was covered by a veil, the pair of eyes that seemed as clear as crystal made everything around it seem a little dim. The woman was wearing a light-colored skirt. Her eyebrows were like green feathers, her skin was like white snow, her waist was like a bundle of white silk, and her face was covered by a veil, with clear eyes, which made people unconsciously want to take a few more glances. There is no doubt that this peerless beauty in the world is Ling Qingzu from Jiaoshan Taking Palace. While Xiao Fan was looking at Ling Qingzu naturally noticed Xiao Fan. Looking at Xiao Fan, who stepped out of the illusory light gate, Ling Qingzu's eyes also flashed with surprise. Originally, Ling Qingzu still had some doubts about some things in the Wanji chat group. Seeing Xiao Fan emerge from the illusory light gate, she gained some confidence in the function of the chat group. When Ling Qingzu saw that Xiao Fan was so young, and his aura was unfathomable, she couldn't help but be surprised. Among the young generation of the 8 super sects in the East Zhuan domain, I'm afraid no one can compare to Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan looked at Ling Qingzu for a while, retracted his gaze, and smiled. Miss Ling is more outstanding than I thought. Ling Qingzu smiled and said, Mr. Xiao, you are too kind. The people of the 3 major clans have already arrived outside the ancient tomb. Let's go there too. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. Please lead the way, Miss Ling. Mr. Xiao, please follow me. Ling Qingzu responded with a smile, and the green lotus under her feet moved carelessly. taking her away. Xiao Fan walked in the air and followed Ling Qingzu. Soon, the two of them arrived deep in the Tanyan Mountains, passed through a natural forest barrier, and a huge mountain appeared in their sight. The mountain had no peak, and the lush green spread throughout the mountain. However, it was still possible to vaguely see that on the top of the mountain covered by the lush green, there were some ancient buildings like huge stones. It was exactly where the ancient tomb house where the Nirvana realm strongmen were buried. With a strong soul power, Xiao Fan could sense that there was a faint seal above the mountain where the ancient tomb house was located. Although the seal was nothing to Xiao Fan, it was very powerful to other people in the Great Yan dynasty. Therefore, many people who wanted to come to the ancient tomb house to explore treasures had set up camp at the foot of the mountain, waiting for the people of the four major clans to break the seal so that they could follow in and have a drink of soup. Above those camps, there were three figures with relatively strong momentum. On the back of a huge red eagle, a figure in green stood. He stood with his hands behind his back, his long hair fluttering in the breeze, looking very free and easy. On a huge golden spear of more than 10 feet, there was a man in a golden robe, with long hair and a proud aura. The last man in a blue shirt, with a handsome face, stood on a huge green phoenix of more than 10 feet. Ling Qingzu introduced to Xiao Fan in a low voice, "The three are Lin Langshan from the Lin family, Wang Yan from the Wang family, and Qin Shi from the Qin family." Xiao Fan nodded slightly to show that he knew, but he didn't take these three people to heart. Even Lin Langshan, the most outstanding of the three, is still far behind him now. Lin Langshan and the other two also noticed the arrival of Xiao Fan and Ling Qingzu at this time. "Ms. Qingzu, you are here." Lin Langshan spoke first and greeted Ling Qingzu. Qin Shi smiled at Ling Qingzu. "It turns out to be Miss Qingzu." Qin Shi is polite. Wang Yan chuckled and said, "I didn't expect you to be interested in the things of my Great Yan dynasty." Ling Qingzu smiled and said, "It's just a coincidence." Lin Langshan suddenly asked at this time, "Who is the friend next to Ms. Qingzu?" Xiao Fan glanced at a few people and smiled lightly. "My name is Xiao Fan, and I am a friend of Qingzu. I heard about what's going on here, so I followed to join in the fun. You don't mind, do you?" Qin Shi smiled and said, "I have no objection." Wang Yan snorted coldly, "Since you're Ms. Qingzu's friend, it's up to you to enter the tomb together. But what you can gain at that time depends on your ability." Lin Langshan replied, "I have no objection either. Since everyone is here, we might as well tear the seal directly." Ling Qingzu nodded slightly. "Let's get started." Lin Langshan nodded and said seriously, "Everyone, this seal was set by a strong man in the Nirvana realm. Although it has been around for many years, its power is still alive and well. But as long as we break it with a point, it will not be difficult to break it." Wang Yan said carelessly, "Stop talking nonsense and get started." He stomped his foot on the golden giant spear, and the spear body began to shake violently. The dazzling golden light quickly condensed at the tip of the spear, and finally turned directly into a huge golden spear light of more than 10 feet, which rushed out violently. Boom boom. The spear light swept out, bringing with it a series of low gas explosions along the way, with amazing momentum. After Wang Yan, Qin Shi, Lin Langshan and Ling Qingzu also used their own methods to attack the seal outside the ancient tomb. After Xiao Fan and the other four people all took action, a Thunder Finger force was sent out casually, but it was the last to arrive first. With a crackling sound, the Thunder Finger force instantly broke through the surface with a point, breaking a hole in the seal. Then, the attacks of the other four people all fell in the hole. Bang! In an instant, the transparent light shield outside the ancient tomb house exploded. An extremely strong storm swept from the sky, like a hurricane. Before the hurricane began, Xiao Fan and the other four flashed and flew to the top of the mountain, rushing into the ancient tomb house. "The seal is opened, rush!" Seeing this scene, the people at the foot of the mountain shouted loudly, and then rushed to the top of the mountain frantically. Xiao Fan did not rush to search for other things in the ancient tomb house, but went straight to the center of the ancient tomb house with Ling Qingzu, because there is the most precious Nirvana heart in the entire ancient tomb house. Although this Nirvana heart is a bit weird, it is just right for Xiao Fan to use it for his woman. Lin Langshan and the other three seemed to have the same purpose, and they also rushed quickly to the stone chamber in the middle of the ancient tomb house. However, the ancient tomb was quite large, so the group of people were still separated and did not move in sync. Xiao Fan and Ling Qingzu rushed through the ancient tomb together, and nothing could hinder their steps. When Xiao Fan and Ling Qingzu passed through a light curtain, a sea of red fire suddenly appeared in front of them. In the sea of fire, countless fire-free passages were divided. Ling Qingzu looked at the sea of red fire and frowned slightly. There should be a formation here. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. Yes, it is indeed a formation, but this formation is not advanced. Let's go. After the formation, it should be the center of the tomb. After speaking, Xiao Fan strode directly into the sea of fire. Seeing this, Ling Qingzu couldn't help showing some strange colors in her eyes. She didn't expect Xiao Fan to know the formation. After a little hesitation, Ling Qingzu also followed Xiao Fan and stepped into the sea of fire. However, the sea of fire did not cause any harm to them. The two of them quickly passed through the sea of red fire, and a tightly closed bronze door appeared in their sight. Xiao Fan sensed it with his soul power and easily found the mechanism to open the bronze door. Creaky. A harsh sound rang out, and the bronze door slowly opened. Let's go in, Xiao Fan said to Ling Qingzu, and entered the stone hall behind the bronze door first. Ling Qingzu didn't say anything, and silently followed Xiao Fan in. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143, Lin Dong is shocked when he gets the Nirvana heart. After Xiao Fan entered the stone hall, he took a casual look around. He saw that there was no luxurious decoration in the stone hall. Instead, it looked extremely simple, even a little monotonous. The stone hall was empty, except for a dusty stone coffin in the center of the stone hall. The stone coffin was open, and above the stone coffin, there was a group of light that exuded vitality. In that light group, a green heart that seemed to be condensed by brilliant energy was beating gently, and with the beating of the green heart, the air in the hall seemed to be vibrating. There is no doubt that this thing is the Nirvana heart, and it is also the most precious thing in the ancient tomb. Ling Qingzu naturally saw the Nirvana heart above the stone coffin, and her expression was slightly fluctuating. Xiao Fan looked at Ling Qingzu and chuckled. This is the Nirvana heart. If Miss Ling wants to use it, I can give it to you. Ling Qingzu smiled and said, Thank you for your kindness, Mr. Zhao. But please keep it. Although the Nirvana heart is not bad for Ling Qingzu, it is not that precious. She doesn't want to lose her innocence because of using this Nirvana heart. Whether from personal feelings or from the needs of the practice, Ling Qingzu attaches great importance to her innocence. Xiao Fan smiled and said, Then I won't be polite. After the voice fell, Xiao Fan stepped forward, opened his 5 fingers slightly, and grabbed the Nirvana heart through the air. An invisible giant hand suddenly appeared out of thin air above the Nirvana heart, then wrapped around the Nirvana heart and quickly grabbed it in the palm of the giant hand. Facing Xiao Fan's grab, the light ball also trembled rapidly, emitting a strong resistance. Seeing the light ball struggling, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and the invisible giant hand suddenly released a thunder force. Bang! With a loud bang, the light ball exploded directly. With the explosion of the light ball, the emerald green energy heart condensed by the lifelong practice essence of the Nirvana strongman was also exposed to the air. Huawa. As the Nirvana heart was exposed to the air, the sound of rushing water suddenly sounded in the stone hall. Xiao Fan did not refine the Nirvana heart here, but directly moved his mind and put it into the storage ring. Ling Qingzu looked at this scene. His expression moved slightly, but he did not say anything. After Xiao Fan put away the Nirvana heart, he said to Ling Qingzu, Let's see if there are any other treasures in here, so that Miss Ling won't make this trip in vain. Ling Qingzu said, I came out mainly to experience the mortal world this time. Whether I can get treasures is not that important. Xiao Fan smiled and said, Just take a look. After that, Xiao Fan took a few steps forward again, walked to the stone coffin, and looked at the situation inside the stone coffin. There was nothing else in the stone coffin except a skeleton. However, on the wall of the stone coffin, there was a line of small words engraved. just like in the original book. Xiao Fan raised his eyebrows slightly, turned his head and looked at Ling Qingzhou on the side. Miss Ling, do you want to take a look? There seems to be a line of handwriting left here. What is engraved? Ling Qingzhou asked casually, and also stepped forward. The two of them moved a little closer, and soon they could see the small words engraved on the wall of the coffin. In my life, I have used the power of yin and yang to reach nirvana, so what I leave behind must be resolved by the harmony of yin and yang. If yin and yang are not harmonious, the body will be burned. Seeing the small words on the wall of the coffin, Ling Qingzhou's face under the veil could not help but turn red. Ahem, it seems that there are no other treasures here. Let's go out. Xiao Fan coughed lightly and changed the subject directly. Seeing this, Ling Qingzhou felt a little bit of favor for Xiao Fan in her heart, and nodded and said, "Okay." The two were about to leave the stone hall, and suddenly saw a young figure, passing through the bronze gate and stepping into the stone hall. The young man was about 15 or 16 years old, with a resolute face and a calm temperament that did not match his age. This young man was naturally Lin Dong, who came through the sea of fire under the guidance of Zhao Diao. Xiao Fan was moved when he saw Lin Dong coming, and he chuckled, "Brother, you are late." As soon as Lin Dong entered the stone hall, he saw Xiao Fan and Ling Qingzhou. A flash of disappointment flashed across his eyes, and he also became a little alert. Before, when he was outside the ancient tomb, Lin Dong had seen how powerful Xiao Fan and Ling Qingzhou were. He was still hoping for the best, but he didn't expect to be late after all. With his thoughts surging in his mind, Lin Dong smiled bitterly and bowed to Xiao Fan, saying, "I am Lin Dong, and I have no intention of competing with you for the treasure. I just wanted to see what the Nirvana strong man left behind by mistake." Hearing the name Lin Dong, Ling Qingzhou's face changed slightly, and she looked at Lin Dong with a complicated look. Lin Dong didn't understand why after he reported his name, Miss Ling looked at him with such a strange look, and there was even a hint of hostility in her eyes. He became more alert and regretted entering the stone hall. Xiao Fan said, "My name is Xiao Fan, and this is Miss Ling." "Brother Lin Dong, please do as you please. We have something else to do, so we'll leave first." After saying that, Xiao Fan turned around and left the stone hall, not intending to have too much interaction with Lin Dong. Ling Qingzhou looked at Lin Dong with a complicated expression, and left with Xiao Fan. After Xiao Fan and Ling Qingzhou left, Lin Dong immediately let out a long breath of turbid air, and his mind relaxed. "Boy, you are too reckless. Those two people just now, any one of them is not something we can deal with, especially the man, who is not much worse than me back then." At this time, Zhao Diao, who was hiding in the stone talisman, complained to Lin Dong with some fear. After complaining, Zhao Diao said to himself, "How could such a strong man come to this small Great Yan dynasty?" Lin Dong didn't know how strong Xiao Fan was. Anyway, Xiao Fan and Ling Qingzhou were both people he couldn't afford to offend. Hearing Zhao Diao's words, Lin Dong couldn't help but ask curiously, "Could that man be a strong man in the Nirvana realm?" Zhao Diao said proudly, "What's the Nirvana realm?" In his hands, the Nirvana realm is probably just a matter of a slap. Hiss. So strong. Lin Dong couldn't help but take a breath of cold air after hearing this, and then asked in confusion, why would such a strong man come to the tomb of a Nirvana realm person to search for treasures? Zhao Diao shook his head. "Who knows, maybe he is pursuing that Miss Ling." Lin Dong nodded slightly. "It's very likely. Forget it. Let's ignore them. Let's first see if there are any treasures in this stone hall that they missed." After saying that, Lin Dong began to search carefully in this stone hall. However, soon, Lin Dong was disappointed. Apart from the line of words on the wall of the coffin, he found nothing else. Seeing the contents in the coffin wall, Lin Dong couldn't help but said, "It seems that Mr. Xiao will soon be together with Miss Ling. Why do I feel a little unhappy?" Zhao Diao laughed strangely and said, "That's because you are jealous. Miss Ling is indeed a rare beauty in the world. However, you don't have to be discouraged. If you work hard to practice and become stronger, you will naturally be favored by beautiful women." Lin Dong shook his head and said, "I just want to improve my strength as soon as possible, defeat Lin Langshan, and avenge my father. Let's go. There is nothing to linger here." After that, Lin Dong turned around and left the stone hall. After the three people left, The stone coffin in the center of the stone hall suddenly trembled, but soon returned to its dead silence. Chapter 144 The Power of a Palm and Lin Qingzu's Thoughts. Outside the stone hall, Xiao Fan and Lin Qingzu did not walk far, because they just came out and saw Lin Langshan, Qin Shi and Wang Yan. At this time, the three of them were also free from the restrictions of the Sea of Fire. Seeing Xiao Fan and Lin Qingzu walking out of the stone hall, Lin Langshan smiled and said, "You two came out of the stone hall. It seems that the Nirvana heart has already been found." Lin Qingzu did not say anything after hearing this, and glanced at Xiao Fan next to him. Xiao Fan smiled faintly. "You three are a step late." Hearing Xiao Fan's words, the faces of Lin Langshan, Qin Shi and Wang Yan all changed. After a long while, Lin Langshan smiled and said, "I didn't expect that it was this young Master Xiao who got the Nirvana heart. It seems that young Master Xiao's strength is even better than Miss Qingzu's." Xiao Fan said lightly, "It's about the same, but I also have to thank Miss Qingzu for giving it to me. As for the three of you, if you have any ideas, you might as well give it a try." Qin Shi's eyes flashed slightly, and he said with a smile, "Young Master Xiao was able to get it, that's your ability, and since Miss Qingzu gave it to you, it's not easy for me to fight for it." Lin Langshan's mind raced, and he smiled. "I'll withdraw too." Wang Yan's eyes flashed, and after a long while, he smiled generously and said, "Young Master Xiao, I want to compete with you. Are you willing to take it?" If Lin Qingzu had obtained the Nirvana heart, Wang Yan might not have had the intention of snatching it away, but now that the Nirvana heart was obtained by Xiao Fan, he was a little unwilling. Xiao Fan said calmly, "You make your move." HMPH, sorry for the offense. Wang Yan looked at Xiao Fan's cold attitude, his face darkened, and he spoke coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Yan turned his palm, and the terrifying Yuanli in his palm gathered crazily. "Golden platform demon suppression palm," Wang Yan shouted in a low voice, and dazzling golden light burst out from the sky. Immediately, the golden light condensed and turned directly into a square golden platform nearly 10 feet in size, which suddenly hit Xiao Fan. "Gaudy but not practical," Xiao Fan commented as he shook his head slightly. At the same time, he opened his 5 fingers, and an illusory giant hand of thunder suddenly appeared, instantly holding the golden platform in it. Bang! A loud bang was heard, and the golden platform condensed by Wang Yan with Yuanli was directly crushed by the illusory giant hand of thunder. Bang! Then, Xiao Fan waved his hand casually, and the giant hand of thunder pushed forward again, instantly slapping Wang Yan away. Puff! Wang Yan spurted out a mouthful of blood, and his body hit the wall of the stone hall, and then slid to the ground with a thump. Lin Langshan and Qin Shi, who were standing by, saw that Xiao Fan had hit Wang Yan seriously with a casual blow, and their faces suddenly froze, and they looked at Xiao Fan with deep fear. At the door of the stone hall, Lin Dong, who had not gained anything, was about to leave when he saw the situation outside and subconsciously stopped to watch for a while. So strong. Seeing Xiao Fan seriously injure Wang Yan with a palm, he was deeply shocked again. Zhao Diao said lightly, "This is just a casual blow from that person. If the other party is serious, all the people in the ancient tomb mansion combined are not enough for him to kill." Hearing Zhao Diao's words, Lin Dong was even more shocked, and he was even more eager for powerful strength. Lin Qingzu was not too surprised. She could easily suppress Wang Yan's level, not to mention Xiao Fan, who was much stronger than her. Wang Yan staggered to his feet, suppressed his fear and anger, and said in a deep voice, "Thank you, Mr. Xiao, for showing mercy." For Xiao Fan, it didn't matter whether he killed Wang Yan or not. Seeing Wang Yan surrendered, Xiao Fan was too lazy to continue. "It seems that you don't have any thoughts about Nirvana heart. In this case, Miss Qingzu and I will take our leave first." Then, Xiao Fan turned to Lin Qingzu and smiled. "Let's go." "Okay, 3 of you. Qingzu will take our leave first." Lin Qingzu nodded slightly, glanced at Lin Langshan and the other 2, and followed Xiao Fan to leave. Xiao Fan and Lin Qingzu had just left, and the rest of the people who came to explore the ancient tomb also rushed to the outside of the stone hall. Among them were Wang Pan and others from the Wang family, and Lin Ke and others from the Lin family. After Wang Pan and others arrived, they rushed directly to Wang Yan and whispered something. When Lin Dong saw the arrival of the Wang family, his face changed slightly, and he was ready to leave this place of trouble. Stop! However, just as Lin Dong was about to leave, Wang Yan's cold voice suddenly rang out. Just now, in front of Lin Langshan, Lin Qingzu and Qin Shi, Wang Yan was defeated by Xiao Fan with a palm and was seriously injured, which made Wang Yan very angry. But Wang Yan knew that his strength was not as good as others, so he could only admit defeat and swallow his anger for the time being. At this moment, Wang Yan learned from Wang Pan and other people of the Wang family that Lin Dong had previously robbed the spiritual treasure. He immediately pointed the spearhead at Lin Dong and prepared to vent his anger on Lin Dong. Lin Dong paused, glanced at Wang Pan and others, frowned and said, "What can I do for you?" Next, just like in the original book, the two sides first had a verbal battle. Then Lin Dong barely resisted the pressure of Lin Langshan's breath and left in embarrassment. Not long after Lin Dong left, Wang Yan did not intend to let Lin Dong go, and directly chased after Lin Dong. On the other side, after Xiao Fan and Lin Qingzu left the stone hall, they did not rush back to the Qi world. They walked side by side, preparing to leave the ancient tomb area. Mr. Zhao, in the group before, Miss Su said that you, like her, know everything about our world. Is this true? Lin Qingzu suddenly thought of something and asked Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. I dare not say that I know it in detail, but most of the situations are clear. Lin Qingzu said, according to the original development trajectory, in the future it will be the young man named Lin Dong who will master the 8 ancestral talismans and the fetus of the plane, and finally destroy the alien demons. But in this process, mankind suffered heavy losses, and many people were sacrificed by the 8 super sects in Dongxuan territory. Mr. Zhao, do you know the whereabouts of the 8 ancestral talismans? If we find the 8 ancestral talismans in advance, and then find the fetus of the plane, and let Lin Dong refine and absorb them all, wouldn't it be possible to enhance the strength to fight against the alien demons in advance and avoid human losses? Xiao Fan smiled faintly. Even if I told you the location of the 8 ancestral talismans, how could you collect them all? Not to mention other things, the controller of the flame ancestral talisman is the master of the flame god temple, Maro. Will he hand over the flame ancestral talisman because of your one-sided words? The ancestral talisman of life and death is in the undead whale clan of Chaos Demon Sea. The ancestral talisman of darkness is in the dark palace of Baixuan territory, and the ancestral talisman of ice is in Dao sect, which belongs to the little princess of Dao sect, Ying Huanhuan. There is also Zhu Tong, the owner of the ancestral talisman of space, who is now imprisoned in Yuanmen. These ancestral talismans, let alone you, are simply impossible to get all of them. So, your idea is impossible to realize. Lin Qingzu frowned slightly when she heard this. I thought too simply. Boom. As the two were talking, they suddenly heard a roar from hundreds of meters away, and at the same time, there were bursts of golden light flashing, as if a golden dragon was moving with its fangs and claws bared. On the other side, a huge red python rushed towards the golden dragon. The two lights, one golden and one red, collided with each other. The energy roared, and the mountains trembled. Swish! The golden and red light filled the sky, and one of the figures flew out backwards, and fell on the forest ground at the feet of Xiao Fan and Lin Qingzu with a plop. Chapter 145 Helping Hand. Lin Dong's Struggle. Xiao Fan looked down and saw that the person who fell to the ground was Lin Dong. His face was quite pale at the moment, and he even spat out a mouthful of blood. Lin Qingzu looked at the seriously injured Lin Dong who fell below them, and her expression could not help but flicker slightly. Xiao Fan saw that Lin Qingzu seemed to want to help Lin Dong, so he smiled and said, "Let's go down and see what's going on." After that, Xiao Fan landed directly in front of Lin Dong from midair. Lin Qingzu followed closely and landed silently beside Xiao Fan. Lin Dong also saw Xiao Fan and Lin Qingzu at this time, and his expression was slightly nervous. Xiao Fan said to Lin Dong, "Brother Lin Dong, what's wrong with you?" Without waiting for Lin Dong to answer, a golden light came in an instant with a whoosh sound from hundreds of meters away. In the golden light, it was Wang Yan's burly figure. Wang Yan wanted to chase Lin Dong and kill him completely, but he didn't expect to see Xiao Fan and Ling Qingzu beside Lin Dong, so he had to forcibly withdraw the attack. Wang Yan's expression changed constantly, and he asked tentatively, "Master Xiao, Miss Ling, why are you here?" Xiao Fan said casually, "Miss Qingzu and I are here to discuss something." "How did we disturb Master Wang?" Wang Yan quickly said, "That was not my intention." Xiao Fan said, "What's going on between you and Lin Dong? If it's not a major grudge, there's no need to fight to the death, right?" When Wang Yan heard Xiao Fan's words, it seemed that he wanted to stop him from killing Lin Dong. He was immediately very angry, but he didn't dare to get angry in front of Xiao Fan, so he had to explain, "Lin Dong robbed my Wang family's spiritual treasure. As long as he hands over the spiritual treasure, I can let him go for Master Xiao's sake." Hearing this, Lin Dong directly refuted, "Nonsense. The spiritual treasure is obviously an ownerless object in the tomb. Whoever gets it first owns it. Why do you say it belongs to your Wang family?" Xiao Fan smiled and said, "If the magic treasure is indeed obtained from the tomb, what Lin Dong said does make sense. The treasure grabbing of relics has always been based on one's own ability. Now that the magic treasure has been found, let's leave it at that." Wang Yan's expression changed when he heard Xiao Fan's words. "Young Master Xiao is going to protect Lin Dong?" Xiao Fan said indifferently, "So what? If you are not convinced, you can continue to make a move." Wang Yan bowed his hands and saluted, "I dare not. Since young Master Xiao is determined to protect Lin Dong, then I will give young Master Xiao this face. Goodbye." After saying that, Wang Yan looked at Lin Dong deeply, and directly controlled the golden spear and left quickly. "Thank you young Master Xiao for your help." After Wang Yan left, Lin Dong was relieved, bowed to Xiao Fan, and expressed his gratitude. Xiao Fan smiled faintly and said, "Even if I don't show up, you can still deal with Wang Yan. At least you can get rid of his pursuit." Lin Dong smiled awkwardly, "I do have some means to deal with Wang Yan, but in fact I am not absolutely sure." No matter what, Mr. Xiao's great kindness, Lin Dong will remember it in his heart and will definitely repay it in the future. Xiao Fan glanced at Lin Dong and said with a smile, "Really? What if I ask you to give me the stone talisman in your hand as a condition for repaying my kindness?" Dong. When Lin Dong heard Xiao Fan's words, his heart seemed to be hit by a heavy hammer, and he couldn't help but feel a little desperate. If Xiao Fan took action by force and snatched his stone talisman, I'm afraid he would not have any power to fight back. With his thoughts flying in his mind, Lin Dong looked confused. "Mr. Xiao, I wonder what the stone talisman you are talking about is?" The little mink hidden in the stone talisman was also on high alert at this moment, and had already made the worst plan in his heart. Ling Qingzu looked at this scene, his eyes flickered slightly, and he secretly thought in his heart, could it be that he had made a mistake? But if Xiao Fan wanted to snatch Lin Dong's stone talisman, he should have been able to do it in the central stone hall of the ancient tomb mansion, right? She didn't understand Xiao Fan's thoughts for a while. Xiao Fan smiled and didn't continue the topic. "Let me tell you a story. This story happened in ancient times. At that time, Xiao Fan simply told Lin Dong and Ling Qingzu about the First World War in Tangxuan continent. The protagonists of the First World War, representing the righteous side, were naturally the talisman ancestor and the 8 ancient masters. In the process of telling the story, Xiao Fan also briefly introduced the ancestral stone and the 8 ancestral talismans. After listening to Xiao Fan's story, Lin Dong and Ling Qingzu were greatly shocked, and Zhao Diao, who was hidden in the ancestral stone, was also overwhelmed. Ling Qingzu and Zhao Diao knew better that the story Xiao Fan told was exactly what really happened on Tangxuan continent. After the story was told, Xiao Fan said to Lin Dong, "I don't know if you have ever heard a saying, if you want to wear the crown, you must bear its weight." The stone talisman in your hand is the second-ranked ancestral stone of the divine object of heaven and earth, and the first-ranked divine object of heaven and earth, the fetus of the plane, has never appeared in the world, so the status and importance of the ancestral stone can be imagined. In the story I just told, the enemy of the human beings in Tangxuan continent, the alien demons, have now begun to reappear in the world. Whoever holds the ancestral stone will have to bear the heavy responsibility of exterminating all the alien demons and protecting all humans in Tangxuan continent. When Lin Dong heard Xiao Fan's words, His expression changed again and again. What are the alien demons you are talking about? Why have I never seen them? Xiao Fan smiled faintly. With your current strength, can you survive after seeing the alien demons? Not only will you die, but the ancestral stone will also be taken away by the alien demons. After all, the ancestral stone is one of the most important divine objects in the fight against the alien demons. Among the ancestral stones, your friend the heavenly demon Martin should know that what I said is true. Even your friend the heavenly demon Martin, who was killed by his own people, had a lot to do with the alien demons. Hearing this, Lin Dong subconsciously asked Zhao Diao in his heart, Zhao Diao, is what he said true? Zhao Diao pondered and said, what he said is basically the same as what I know, and it is more detailed. However, regarding the fact that I was killed by my own people, I am not sure it is related to the alien demon. After Zhao Diao answered Lin Dong's question, he couldn't help but recall again the time when he was hunted down and killed after obtaining the ancestral stone. Xiao Fan looked at the change in Lin Dong's expression and said with a smile, you have already verified it with your friend Yan Yao Diao, right? I don't care about the ancestral stone. However, this Miss Lin is from Jiaoshan Taking Palace, one of the 8 super sects in Dongxuan territory, and she attaches great importance to the ancestral stone and the fight against the alien demons. If you, Lin Dong, feel that you can take on the important task of fighting against the powerful alien demons and protecting the safety of Dongxuan continent, then continue to hold the ancestral talisman, and then collect the 8 ancestral talismans between heaven and earth, refine them all into one, and use your powerful strength to completely eliminate the alien demons. In fact, in my opinion, it is better for you to give the ancestral stone to Miss Ling. After all, she has the support of Jiaoshan Taking Palace, which is many times easier than you to obtain the ancestral talisman to improve your strength. Of course, don't worry, I won't take it by force. When Ling Qingzu heard Xiao Fan's words, her heartbeat frequency suddenly changed. She didn't expect that Xiao Fan asked Lin Dong for the ancestral stone and was actually going to give it to her. This made Ling Qingzu have a subtle feeling for Xiao Fan. Lin Dong gritted his teeth, his expression changed constantly, his hands sometimes clenched and sometimes unclenched, struggling in his heart. Should this ancestral stone be handed over to Jiaoshan Taking Palace, or should I continue to hold it, protecting all humans in Dongxuan continent? This burden, can I really bear it? Chapter 146 Choice, Thunder Ancestral Talisman. Lin Dong was unwilling to give up and handed over the stone talisman. He asked Zhao Diao in his heart, Zhao Diao, do you know about the 8 major sects in Dongxuan territory? Zhao Diao said, I know a little. Jiaoshan Taking Palace is indeed one of the 8 super sects in Dongxuan territory. No wonder they are so powerful. Your biggest enemy now, Lin Langshan, is not even worthy of being called an enemy in front of Jiaoshan Taking Palace. He can be crushed to death with ease. Super sects like Jiaoshan Taking Palace control countless dynastic forces. The entire Great Yan dynasty is nothing in their eyes. Lin Dong said in a deep voice, Zhao Diao, do you think I can shoulder the burden of protecting Dongxuan continent? Zhao Diao was silent for a while, and then said, no one can say for sure about this kind of thing. It mainly depends on you. If you only look at the present, between you and Jiaoshan Taking Palace, Jiaoshan Taking Palace is definitely more qualified and capable of protecting Dongxuan continent. But you are still young, and the future has unlimited possibilities. Lin Dong now has little experience, and his understanding of the strong is very limited, and the young man is unwilling to admit defeat. After struggling for a while, Lin Dong showed a resolute look on his face and said solemnly, I still want to master the ancestral stone myself. In the future, I will definitely eliminate all the alien demons and restore peace to the Dongxuan continent. After saying this, Lin Dong was also nervous and uneasy, because Lin Dong was not sure whether Xiao Fan would really not take the ancestral stone from him. Xiao Fan smiled faintly, okay, I'll give you a chance. You want to become a strong man who can fight against the demons, but there is no hope in this small Great Yan dynasty. Your first step is to participate in the 100 Dynasties War, and stand out from it to join one of the 8 super sects. Lin Dong breathed a sigh of relief when he heard Xiao Fan's words, and he also respected Xiao Fan a little. I wonder what the 100 Dynasties War that Mr. Xiao is talking about? Xiao Fan said, go and find out for yourself. If you can't even get the qualifications to participate in the 100 Dynasties War, everything else will be in vain. At that time, Miss King Zhu and I may come back and take away the ancestral stone from you. Hearing this, Lin Dong clasped his fists and said, thank you Mr. Xiao for giving me the opportunity. If I really can't even participate in the 100 Dynasties War as you said, then I am willing to give up the ancestral stone. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. Well, work hard. You and I are destined to be together, and I will give you another small gift. As he said that, Xiao Fan took out a scroll and handed it to Lin Dong. Lin Dong asked curiously, Mr. Xiao, what is this? Lin Qingzu also looked at Xiao Fan with some curiosity. Xiao Fan smiled and said, this is a method that can hide one's own aura. It may be helpful to you on your path of growth. Try it and see if you can practice it. Lin Dong took the scroll with both hands and said gratefully, thank you, Mr. Xiao. I will try it now. Lin Dong quickly tried to practice it according to the operation method recorded on the scroll, and soon got the basics. I barely got the basics. Thank you, Mr. Xiao for your gift. After trying to practice, Lin Dong thanked Xiao Fan again. Xiao Fan casually said, I am very optimistic about you. Try hard. We will meet again in the future. Let's go. Xiao Fan then said to Lin Qingzu on the side. Lin Qingzu nodded slightly, glanced at Lin Dong, and then left with Xiao Fan. After Xiao Fan and Lin Qingzu left, Lin Dong let out a long breath, and the big stone hanging in his heart finally fell to the ground. This Master Xiao is really mysterious, Xiao Diao said with some emotion in the ancestral stone. Lin Dong said, no matter what, Master Xiao did not take the ancestral stone, which is such a precious treasure, and was willing to give me a chance. I am very grateful. Moreover, he helped us before. Well, this Master Xiao is indeed different from ordinary people. If it were someone else, who would reason with you and kill you directly and take the ancestral stone away. Like me, I was chased and killed because of the ancestral stone. Xiao Diao heard this and said with some agreement. Lin Dong nodded slightly. Let's go. Let's go back to Yancheng first, solve some troubles, and then go to find the ancestral talisman. In 2 years, I must trample Lin Lingshan under my feet, and I must find a way to participate in the 100 Dynasties War and stand out from it. After that, Lin Dong found the fire python tiger Xiao Yan, and then returned to Yancheng together. In the air, Xiao Fan and Lin Qingzu stood side by side, watching Lin Dong leave silently. Xiao Fan smiled and said, it seems that Lin Dong was not hit. Lin Qingzu said softly, I just hope that he can grow up faster than the original trajectory, otherwise, humans will still have to make many sacrifices. Xiao Fan said, it doesn't necessarily have to rely on Lin Dong. With the existence of the chat group, you can definitely improve yourself faster. After returning to Jiayushan Taking Palace, ask your master to help you collect more property to exchange for points. Isn't it much faster than practicing? If you have enough strength, you can naturally solve the problem of alien demons. In addition, you can also ask me for help through the chat group at that time. Lin Qingzu smiled and said, thank you in advance, Mr. Xiao. Xiao Fan said casually, you're welcome. Alien demons should also be able to exchange points. You can start with the weaker alien demons first, kill alien demons to earn points to improve your strength, and then kill alien demons. Isn't it a good thing to repeat this cycle? Lin Qingzu's eyes lit up when she heard it. Thank you Mr. Xiao for your suggestion. I will discuss it with my master. Xiao Fan saw that Lin Qingzu was in a hurry to return to the sect, so he also prepared to return to the Dqi world. However, before leaving, Xiao Fan certainly would not forget to sign in, and directly gave the system an order in his heart. System, sign in. Ding. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained a Thunder Ancestral Talisman. It turned out to be the Thunder Ancestral Talisman. I wonder if this Thunder Ancestral Talisman is the original one in the Wudong world. Hearing the content of the system reward, Xiao Fan couldn't help but feel a little surprised. This Thunder Ancestral Talisman is just right for him. However, he still has to wait until he returns to the Dqi world to refine and absorb it. If he refines and absorbs it here, I am afraid that it will attract many strong people, and even the old monsters in the Samsara realm will be dispatched. That would not be fun. With his mind churning for a while, Xiao Fan said to Ling Qingzu, "Things here are done, and I am ready to go back. Miss Ling can also visit my world when she is free." Ling Qingzu said, "Take care, young master Xiao. I will go when I have time." Xiao Fan nodded slightly, and then with a thought, he used the world traveling function of the chat group to instantly return to the room in the Qi world. Ling Qingzu looked at the direction where Xiao Fan's figure disappeared, and was slightly lost in thought for a while, and then she also drove the King Lian under her feet to the Huangfu family. She was going to say goodbye to the Huangfu family, and then she was going to return to Jiaoshan taking palace. At the same time, after returning to the Qi world, Xiao Fan flashed directly to the deep mountains behind Yunlin sect. Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and an ancient rune flashing with lightning light quietly hovered in front of him, and a strange fluctuation slowly appeared from the rune. Chapter 147 Nine-Starred Sun, Yin and Yang Balance. Xiao Fan stared at the Thunder Ancestral Talisman in front of him for a while, then opened the 5 fingers of his right hand, and a black swallowing vortex appeared in his palm, and the heaven-devouring earth-devouring divine power was displayed again. Crackle! A crisp sound rang out. The Thunder Ancestral Talisman seemed to sense the threat of the devouring power, and automatically released the terrifying thunder power to counter the devouring power. In an instant, a sea of thunder formed within a few miles of Xiao Fan and the Thunder Ancestral Talisman. Xiao Fan was in the sea of thunder. Not only did he not suffer any harm, but he felt very comfortable, as if he was back in his mother's arms. Since Xiao Fan took the Thunder Source Fruit, he can be fearless of any thunder energy attack between heaven and earth. Even the terrifying thunder released by the Thunder Ancestral Talisman is the same. Xiao Fan sat on a big rock casually, allowing the thunder power released by the Thunder Ancestral Talisman to bombard himself, while constantly releasing the devouring power, swallowing all the thunder energy into it and turning it into his own pure energy. In the Yunlin sect, Yunshan, Yunyan, and several elders all sensed the sudden appearance of the Sea of Thunder in the depths of Yunlin Mountain. They immediately flew towards the location of the Sea of Thunder. "Master, do you know what's going on?" Yunyan looked at the terrifying Sea of Thunder and asked Yunshan. Yunshan looked very solemn and shook his head slightly, saying, "I don't know why this terrifying thunder suddenly appeared." Yunshan guessed, "Old Sect Master, do you think that some thunder-attributed treasures have appeared?" Yunshan pondered and said, "It's possible." In the center of the Sea of Thunder, Xiao Fan also sensed the arrival of Yunshan, Yunyan and others. Sensing the nervous look of several people, he couldn't help but laugh a little and said directly, "Sect Master Yunshan, Yunner, the thunder here is caused by my cultivation. You don't have to think too much. Just do what you need to do." Xiao Fan's voice was not loud, but it was clearly heard by Yunshan, Yunyan and others. Hearing that voice, Yunshan, Yunyan and others were slightly startled. "Master, it's Xiao Fan's voice." Yunyan was stunned for a moment, then said to Yunshan. Yunshan nodded slightly. "Master heard it. I didn't expect that Master Xiao could create such an amazing phenomenon with just one practice. It's really terrifying." Elder Yunlai was shocked and said, "I don't know how strong Master Xiao is. If he releases this thunder when fighting with others, I'm afraid that even Zhang can't bear it, right?" Yunshan nodded slightly. "You are right. Even I dare not easily get involved in the thunder." "Well, since Master Xiao asked us to go back, we should not disturb Master Xiao's practice here. Let's all go back." "Yes, old master." Yunlai and several other elders agreed in unison, and then turned and left. But the shock in their hearts was hard to dissipate for a long time. Yunshan and Yunyan followed and slowly left. In the center of the Sea of Thunder, Xiao Fan didn't care much about what was happening outside. He was still using the heaven-devouring and earth-devouring divine power to devour the thunder energy released by the Thunder Ancestral Talisman. As Xiao Fan continued to refine the thunder energy, the total amount of qi in his body continued to increase, and his aura gradually strengthened. One day later, Xiao Fan's cultivation level was directly upgraded from 7-starred Zun to 8-starred Zun. 3 days later, Xiao Fan's cultivation level had reached the 9-starred Zun realm. At this time, the Thunder Ancestral Talisman almost stopped releasing thunder energy, as if it knew that no matter how much thunder energy it released, it would not have any effect. Until the end, the Thunder Ancestral Talisman shook unwillingly, and was directly swallowed into Xiao Fan's body, turning into a part of Xiao Fan's energy. 9-starred Zun. Not bad. After sensing his current cultivation situation, Xiao Fan nodded with satisfaction, and then Xiao Fan flashed and went to the side of the mountain forest. There, Yan was quietly watching Xiao Fan's position, with a faint worry in her expression. In the past few days, Yan came to observe the movement in the thunder area every day. Although Xiao Fan said that he was just practicing normally, Yan couldn't help but worry when she saw the terrifying thunder. "Yunner, what are you thinking about?" Xiao Fan flashed to Yan's side, hugged her from behind, and asked softly. Yan sensed the movement behind her and was a little nervous at first, but soon she sensed Xiao Fan's breath and immediately relaxed. Hearing Xiao Fan's words, Yan pretended to be indifferent and said, "I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just a little bored." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Really? I know you are worried about me. Don't be embarrassed. However, I am a thunder attribute. Any thunder power will not hurt me. Instead, it will promote my progress." Yan said, "So, your strength has improved again?" Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Yes, it has improved a little." Yan said with some envy, "The speed at which your cultivation is improving is too fast." Xiao Fan turned Yan over to face him, and said with a smile on his face, "I got a treasure when I went out this time. It should be able to improve your strength a little. Even if you can't reach the Zong level, it's almost there." Yan was happy to hear that, but still said, "Since it is something that can improve your strength, use it yourself." Xiao Fan kissed Yan and smiled. "I knew that my Yunner is the most considerate of others. However, this thing is a little bit worse for me. It is just suitable for the Huang level. Wait for me to refine it and then give it to you." "Thank you." Yan heard Xiao Fan say that. She did not refuse. She thanked him softly, and she felt warm in her heart. "Let's go. Let's go back." Xiao Fan smiled slightly, took Yan in his arms, and walked directly to his residence. After returning to his residence, Xiao Fan took out the Nirvana heart and put it into the automatic alchemy furnace, and soon refined 10 pills. Xiao Fan put 5 of them in the alchemy furnace into the system space, and handed the other 5 to Yan. "Take these pills and refine them, it should help you improve your strength a lot." "Thank you." Yan thanked again, stretched out her hand to take the 5 pills refined by the Nirvana heart, took out one of them and swallowed it directly, and then began to refine and absorb it. After refining one of them, she continued with the second one. When Yan refined and absorbed all 5 pills, her cultivation strength was surprisingly improved to the peak of the 9-starred Huang realm. It was only one step away from the Duzong realm. At this moment, Yan's face changed slightly. She felt that the energy in her body suddenly began to roll violently. In her body, there was a very powerful yin pure energy, constantly whistling out of her body. At the same time, the parts of her skin exposed to the outside were slightly rosy. Deep in Yan's heart, she was longing for something. "Xiao Fan, what exactly did you give me? Why do I feel something wrong with my body?" Yan endured the discomfort of her body and asked Xiao Fan anxiously. Xiao Fan comforted her. "Don't worry, it's just that this kind of thing requires the harmony of yin and yang to be perfectly controlled." Yan's face suddenly turned red when she heard Xiao Fan's words. Xiao Fan didn't say much, but lowered his head slightly and covered Yan's lips. Yan soon began to respond. In the room, spring is gradually rising. Chapter 148 The Destruction of the Huangxi Sect. Goodbye to the little medical fairy. Next, Xiao Fan stayed in Yunlin sect for a few days, taught Yan to practice, and gave her a breaking sect pill, which helped Yan break through to the Zong realm. During this period, Xiao Fan also went to the Demon Revival World and gave Xiaoxiao another 5 pills made by Nirvana Heart. After taking the pills, the yin and yang between the two of them were in harmony, which was beyond description. After Yan broke through the Zong realm, Xiao Fan stayed for another 2 days, and then left with Yan reluctant to leave. Xiaoyan Empire, the strongest force in the empire, Huangxi sect, has always been in existence that no one dared to provoke in Xiaoyan Empire. But today, Huangxi sect was directly attacked by someone. What's even more incredible is that the people who attacked the gate of Huangxi sect were just two girls who looked 17 or 18 years old. On the sides of the two girls, there was a purple crystal-winged lion king and an extremely majestic golden-winged roc. Around them, dozens of unlucky Huangxi sect disciples had fallen and were screaming. These two girls are Xiaoxiao and Xiao Wu, who have been separated from Xiao Fan for more than half a year. After parting with Xiao Fan in the Warcraft Mountains, Xiaoxiao still brought Xiao Wu with her to the Qian Empire. Although Xiaoxiao can now control the poisonous body at will, poison still has an excellent effect on her strength improvement. In the northwest region of the Qi continent, the Qian Empire is undoubtedly the place with the most poison. Xiaoxiao therefore positioned it as a place to improve strength. In the past 6 months, Xiaoxiao, with the help of poison, has soared directly to the realm of Duang. During this period, Xiaoxiao inevitably clashed with many poison masters in Qian. After all, the poison that Xiaoxiao wants is also a treasure for the poison masters of Qian. Although Xiaoxiao's strength is not enough to dominate the Qian Empire, with Xiao Fan's pet Xiao Jun by their side, those poison masters who are enemies of them eventually became corpses. Not long ago, Xiaoxiao and Xiao Wu were spotted by the people of the Huangxi Gate when they were collecting poison. In order to seize the poison, the two sides launched a war. Because the Huangxi sect had a large number of people and was not too weak, they killed Xiaoxiao's partner Lan Ying in the battle. Xiaoxiao was naturally furious and launched a crazy revenge on the Huangxi sect, killing many of its disciples and robbing a lot of poison from the Huangxi sect. The Huangxi sect naturally couldn't stand this, so they sent many masters to chase Xiaoxiao and Xiao Wu. Unfortunately, every time they sent someone, they never came back. 3 days ago, the leader of the Huangxi sect, Xiaoxiao, went out in person, but became Xiao Jin's food. After killing Xiaoxiao, Xiaoxiao knew that there was no room for reasoning with the Huangxi sect, so she simply took Xiao Wu and killed the Huangxi sect, ready to seize all the treasures of the Huangxi sect. Who dares to be presumptuous in my Huangxi sect? Just as Xiaoxiao and Xiao Wu were killing people everywhere, an angry voice suddenly came from the depths of the Huangxi sect. In an instant, an old man in a linen gown and with sinister eyes came out from the depths of the Huangxi sect and appeared in everyone's sight. The old sect master is here. Old sect master, these two bitches are relying on their monster companions to bully the Huangxi sect. Please, old sect master, make the decision for us. Please, old sect master, make the decision. Seeing the old man coming, the disciples of the Huangxi sect present were immediately excited and shouted loudly. This old man was the old sect master of the Huangxi sect, Zibayan. Zibayan looked around and said in a deep voice, "Where is Zishan?" Zishan was the sect master of the Huangxi sect. A disciple of the 10,000 Scorpion sect responded, "The sect master went down the mountain not long ago to hunt down his enemies." The little medical immortal said coldly, "Your sect master of the Scorpion Mountain is dead. Don't count on him." Upon hearing this, Scorpion Baiyan's face suddenly darkened. "How shameless! I want to see what you have to dare to run wild in my 10,000 Scorpion sect." After that, Scorpion Baiyan slapped the little medical immortal through the air. As Scorpion Baiyan slapped, a dark handprint suddenly appeared in the air, carrying a fierce murderous intent and attacking the little medical immortal. Chu. At this time, Xiao Jin, who was beside the little medical immortal, let out a powerful cry and flapped his wings slightly. Boom! The next moment, a gust of wind suddenly blew up, instantly blowing the black handprint to a disciple of the 10,000 Scorpion sect. Ah! The unlucky disciple of the 10,000 Scorpion sect let out a scream, and his body quickly turned black, and he fell to the ground and lost his life. Seeing this, the other disciples of Huangxi sect all changed their faces and hid away from Ziban. "Asshole, you are looking for death." Ziban was shocked and angry when he saw this. He shouted angrily and rushed towards Xiao Jin. Kai. Xiao Jin looked at Ziban flying towards him and made a chirping sound. A black swallowing vortex suddenly appeared in front of his mouth. When Ziban saw the black vortex, his face suddenly changed. He felt a great sense of crisis and tried to hide away. However, it was too late. No matter how hard Ziban tried, He could not break free from the powerful swallowing force. In an instant, Zhu Yuanzhang was swallowed by Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan's stomach bulged and soon refined it. It's over. The old sect master was eaten by the monster. Seeing this scene, the disciples of Huangxi sect immediately cried out, their faces full of despair. Xiaoxiao looked at this scene and said coldly, from today on, the Huangxi sect will be removed from the Qi continent. Those who want to be buried with the Huangxi sect can continue to stay, and those who want to live should get out of the Huangxi sect immediately. The current Xiaoxiao is not as murderous as the Xiaoxiao in the original book, otherwise none of these people would have survived. Thank you for not killing me, young lady. After hearing Xiaoxiao's words, a Huangxi sect disciple thanked her and ran away. With the first one, there will be successors. Soon, all the disciples of Huangxi sect ran away. There was no one who was willing to sacrifice for Huangxi sect. Wu, let's go and see what good things are in the Huangxi sect's treasure house, Xiaoxiao said to Wu after the Huangxi sect disciples fled in all directions. Okay, Sister Xiaoxiao. Wu heard the words and immediately agreed without hesitation. Papa. At this moment, a crisp applause sounded. Then, a clear voice came out. Xiaoxiao, I haven't seen you for a long time. I am quite impressed with you. Hearing that voice, Xiaoxiao and Wu showed surprise on their faces, and cheered at the same time. Brother Xiao Fan, you are here. Xiao Fan could sense Xiao Jin's location telepathically, so he easily knew where Xiaoxiao and Wu were. After leaving Yunlin sect, he broke through the space and came to the sky above Huangxi sect. However, Xiao Fan did not show up directly. He watched Xiaoxiao deal with the affairs of Huangxi sect before showing up. Xiao Fan landed from the air next to Xiaoxiao and Wu, and said with a smile, Xiaoxiao, Wu, long time no see. Chapter 149 Return to the Academy. New plan. Chirp. When Xiao Fan was reminiscing with Xiaoxiao and Wu, Xiao Jin, who was standing beside him, chirped happily, came to Xiao Fan, stretched out his wings and gently rubbed Xiao Fan's shoulders. Xiao Fan stroked Xiao Jin's golden feathers and said with a smile, Xiao Jin, I haven't seen you for a long time. You have worked hard to protect Xiaoxiao and the others during this period. Chirp. Xiao Jin chirped happily and shook his head, as if to say that it was not hard. Xiao Fan chatted with Xiaoxiao and the other two girls casually for a few more words, and then his mind moved slightly, and he released the purple crystal-winged Lion King who had transformed into a human from the Source Tower. Brother Xiao, who is she? Xiaoxiao couldn't help asking when she saw a woman suddenly appear. Xiao Fan smiled and said, you can't recognize it. This is the purple crystal-winged Lion King from before, but now it has been promoted to a 7th level magic beast, so it has transformed into a human. Zi, come and say hello to them. The second half of the sentence was naturally said to the purple crystal-winged Lion King. Hello, Miss Xiaoxiao and Miss Wu. Zi hurriedly greeted Xiaoxiao and Wu after hearing this. Wu smiled and said, congratulations on your successful transformation. Xiaoxiao also congratulated her lightly. Zi immediately expressed his gratitude to the two. Xiao Fan waved his hand and said, okay, Zi, you can spend some time alone with your child first. We will go to do things. Zi hurriedly said, yes, thank you, sir. Xiao Fan nodded slightly, without saying anything more, and took Xiaoxiao and Wu to the treasure house of the Huangxi sect. Soon, the three of them emptied the treasure house of the Huangxi sect. After emptying the treasure house of Huangxi sect, Xiao Fan said to Xiaoxiao and Wu, I came to you this time because Zi wanted to see her child, and I wanted to take you to the Black Horn region. Wu asked curiously, what is the Black Horn region? The Black Horn region, that is. Xiao Fan explained to Wu casually, and then said, Xiaoxiao, don't refuse. When you get to the Black Horn region, I will set up an auction house. It will be easier for you to get poison. If you feel bad, help me more when you grow up. Wu said, Sister Xiaoxiao, let's go together. Xiaoxiao was silent for a while after hearing this, and nodded after a while and said, okay, I will go to the Black Horn region with you. At that moment, Xiao Fan took the two women and three beasts directly, broke through the space wormhole, and went to the Black Horn region. Not long after, they arrived at Heping Town in the Black Horn region. Elder Xiao, you're back. Seeing Xiao Fan, Hong Luo, the elder who stayed in Heping Town, hurriedly came up to greet him and saluted. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "My two friends will stay in Heping Town first, please take care of them for me." Hearing this, Hong Luo hurriedly said, "Don't worry, Elder Zhao." Xiao Fan nodded slightly, and then said a few words to Xiaoxiao and Zhao Wu, and then returned to the inner courtyard of Canaan College. "Master Xiao Fan, you're back." In the inner courtyard of Canaan College, where Xiao Fan lived, Yif was having nothing to do. Seeing Xiao Fan coming back, she immediately showed a look of joy. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Yes, I will come back naturally after I finish my work. Next, I will plan to open an auction house in the Black Horn region and put it in charge of you." Yif was very happy when she heard this, but on the surface she said, "Master Xiao Fan, I'm not in a hurry." Xiao Fan said, "I don't have anything else to do. The next thing to do is to set up an auction house. Establishing an auction house in the Black Horn region will definitely attract the covetousness of other forces. So before that, I plan to establish my prestige in the Black Horn region first, which can be regarded as finding a good location for the auction house." Yif said softly, "I will listen to Master Xiao Fan's arrangements." Xiao Fan said, "I have found two helpers for you. They will assist you in managing the auction house. At the same time, they can also help you a lot in identifying elixirs and medicinal materials." Yif smiled when she heard this and said, "That's even better. Let's go, pack up, we'll go to find my fourth brother Xiao Yan first," and then set off directly. Xiao Fan nodded slightly and said to Yif, "Okay, Master Xiao Fan, wait a moment." Yif agreed, and began to pack her things. Soon, Yif finished packing, and Xiao Fan took her directly to the inner courtyard area. In the inner courtyard area, Xiao Fan found Xiao Yan soon. During this period, Xiao Yan and his three brothers have made a name for themselves in Canaan College. "Third brother, you are looking for me." Xiao Yan immediately came forward after seeing Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "I plan to seize Fengcheng in the Black Horn region, establish an auction house in the Black Horn region, and then use it as a base to gradually bring the entire Black Horn region under my command." Xiao Yan asked, "Is there anything you need me to do?" Xiao Fan did not answer but asked, "Do you know who the mayor of Fengcheng is?" Xiao Yan shook his head slightly. "I don't know yet." At the beginning, Xiao Fan took Xiao Yan and his three brothers directly into Canaan College. Xiao Yan did not go out these days, so he was not very familiar with the situation in the Black Horn region. Xiao Fan said, "The Lord of Fengcheng is nicknamed Medicine King. His name is Han Feng. He also has another identity, that is, your former senior brother." "What?" Xiao Yan was shocked when he heard Xiao Fan's words. Yao Chen in the ring was even more emotional, and his soul was trembling. Xiao Yan sensed the change in Yao Chen and asked in confusion, "Teacher, what's wrong with you?" Yao Chen said, "This is a long story. I will tell you slowly later. Anyway, you and Xiao Fan went to take over Fengcheng, which can be regarded as revenge for me. From what your third brother said, it seems that he already knows about me and Han Feng." Xiao Fan looked at the change in Xiao Yan's expression and said lightly, "Han Feng betrayed your teacher. I asked you to join me, which can be regarded as helping you and your teacher to get revenge and put an end to the regret." Xiao Yan said, "I know. Thank you, third brother." Xiao Fan waved his hand and said, "We are one family. No need to be polite. Let's go. We will go directly to Fengcheng now." "Master, you are back." At this time, a green figure ran toward Xiao Fan and the others quickly and threw himself into Xiao Fan's arms. It was King Lin who learned the news of Xiao Fan's return and hurried over. Behind King Lin, Zhu Yan, who was dressed in white, also came slowly. Xiao Fan reached out and rubbed King Lin's head, smiling and said, "King Lin, have you been practicing hard during this period?" "Yeah." King Lin leaned in Xiao Fan's arms and nodded heavily. Zhu Yan pouted and said to Xiao Fan, "Brother Xiao Fan, you didn't come to find me and King Lin when you came back, huh?" Xiao Fan smiled and said, "It's my fault, but I still have to go out to do something. After I come back, I will stay in the academy for a long time." Zhu Yan asked curiously, "You have so many things to do. What are they this time?" Xiao Fan said, "I plan to seize Fengcheng in the Black Horn region, and then open an auction house in Fengcheng." Zhu Yan's eyes lit up when she heard this, and she clenched her fist and said, "So you are going to fight?" "I want to go too." Chapter 150 The Ups and Downs of Medicine Emperor Han Feng, Blackhorn Region, Fengcheng. Because of Medicine Emperor Han Feng, this not-so-big city is well known in Blackhorn Region and is quite prosperous and lively. In the huge piece of land in the center of the city, a magnificent manor stands here. No building in the city can surpass its majestic and domineering momentum. This is the residence of Medicine Emperor Han Feng. In a rather luxurious hall in the manor, Medicine Emperor Han Feng sits on the main seat. In the guest seat of the hall, there are two figures with a strange aura. One is in a gold robe, and the other is in a silver robe. However, if you look closely, you can find that the faces of the two are almost exactly the same, both with white hair and beard, and their facial features are as if they were carved from the same mold. These two people are the famous Mr. Jinyan in Blackhorn Region, also known as the two old men of Jinyan, because they are twin brothers and their cultivation methods are exactly the same. If they are separated, their strength can only be comparable to that of a Huang Peak warrior, but if they fight together, they will complement each other, and even if they face a warrior who has just entered the Duzong realm, they still have a good chance of winning. Han Feng has learned about the fallen heart flame in Canaan College over the years, and has been trying to find a way to seize the fallen heart flame from Canaan College. Recently, Han Feng learned that the fallen heart flame riots in Canaan College have become more frequent, so he began to recruit people everywhere, hoping to go to Canaan College together to help him seize the strange fire. Today is the day when Han Feng and the two elders Jin and Yin have reached an agreement. At this time, the three of them sat down as host and guest, and they were talking happily. Han Feng raised the wine glass in his hand and said to the two elders, Jin and Yin, you two are willing to help Han. Han is very grateful. After Han succeeds, he will definitely help you break through the Zong realm and repay your kindness. The two elders, Jin and Yin, responded at the same time, no problem. Then, the three of them raised their glasses and drank them all. At this moment, a servant of the Han mansion suddenly ran in with a panic on his face. Master Yao Huang, it's bad. The enemy is coming. Han Feng heard this and his face showed a cold color. Humphrey, how can you yell? The two elders, Jin and Yin, looked at each other at this time and said in unison, Yao Huang, we brothers have joined, but we have never taken action. Today, we will get rid of the invading enemy for you, and it will not be in vain for your hospitality. Han Feng smiled and said, then I will trouble you two gentlemen. The two elders, Jin and Yin, clasped their fists to Han Feng and flew out of the hall at the same time. Han Feng also followed behind the two slowly. Soon, the three of them left the hall and saw the appearance of the invading enemy. The leader was only a boy of about 17 or 18 years old, except for a boy of 15 or 16 years old. The others following him were all young women. The people who came were naturally Xiao Fan, Yan, Yif, Ziyan and King Lin. As for Xiaoxiao and Zhou Wu, they stayed in Heping Town for the time being. Haha, I really didn't expect that the ones who attacked the Medicine King's mansion were a group of little kids. Seeing the appearance of the people who came, the two elders Jin and Yin couldn't help but laugh out loud. Han Feng's face was gloomy. You are a bunch of ignorant guys. Who gave you the courage to come to my mansion to make trouble? Xiao Fan smiled faintly. We are not here to make trouble, but to kill people. Han Feng was even more furious when he heard Xiao Fan's words. Okay, I want to see how you kill people. The two elders, Jin and Yin, clasped their fists and said with a smile, Medicine Emperor, these little kids, do you come by yourself or do we brothers come? Originally, the two elders thought that some famous masters had come, and they were ready to show their own value. But after seeing the young faces of Xiao Fan and his group, they felt that they were a bit overqualified. Han Feng said, you two just stand aside and watch. I want to know who is backing them up and dares to come to my house to cause trouble. Ziyan was getting impatient waiting on the side, and said to Xiao Fan, Brother Xiao Fan, do it. If I can't beat this guy, I will do it. Xiao Fan rolled his eyes at Ziyan unhappily. Got it. After that, Xiao Fan swung his palm directly at Han Feng. Boom. The next moment, a terrifying roar sounded in the air. An illusory giant hand flashing with lightning arcs suddenly grabbed Han Feng. Sensing the terrifying power in the giant hand of thunder, Han Feng's face suddenly changed. He no longer had any contempt, and suddenly mobilized the heart flame of the Sea of Fire, forming a flaming sword, and slashed at the giant hand of thunder fiercely. Crackle! There were constant flashes of lightning on the giant hand of thunder, which instantly wrapped the flaming sword and wiped it out. After destroying the flaming sword, the giant hand of thunder still grabbed Han Feng without any hindrance. Damn it! Han Feng's face showed a look of shock and anger. He shouted loudly and used all his strength to stimulate the fighting spirit in his body. His hands instantly formed a hand seal, and a dazzling fighting spirit light ball formed in the center of his hands in an instant. Light seal. A dazzling beam of light cut through the space. Indistinctly, a huge hand seal appeared in the beam of light, just like the shining sun falling from the sky, with a terrifying energy that made people's hair stand on end, and it hit the giant hand of thunder. Boom! The giant hand of thunder collided with the fighting spirit light ball, and suddenly a terrifying roar sounded in the air. The huge hand seal formed by the fighting spirit light ball trembled, and soon broke apart, turning into wisps of fighting spirit again, floating in the air. Seeing this, Han Feng couldn't help but show a panic on his face. The fighting spirit wings behind him spread out, and he wanted to escape quickly. However, it was too late. The giant hand of thunder grabbed Han Feng roughly, and suddenly destroyed the wings of fighting spirit behind him, and then directly grabbed Han Feng in the palm of his hand. Crackle! The flashing thunder power struck Han Feng, making a sound that made people's teeth ache. Han Feng was caught in the hand of the giant hand of thunder, and the fighting spirit in his body seemed to be numbed by the thunder and lightning. His body was split open and his skin was torn apart. He struggled desperately but couldn't break free, and couldn't help but scream. All this is a long story, but in fact it was just a matter of a moment. The two elders of Jin and Yin on the side were originally looking forward to Han Feng's move, wanting to see how Han Feng would kill these ignorant young people. However, they never thought that the young man only made a move, and the dignified medicine king Han Feng was actually restrained like this. The two elders of Jin and Yin looked at each other and saw a deep shock in each other's eyes. Are the young people nowadays so powerful? Everyone, since this is a matter between you and Han Feng, we will not interfere. Goodbye. The two elders Jin and Yin's eyes changed for a while, and they both bowed to Xiao Fan and the others. After the words fell, the two of them immediately displayed their fighting spirit wings without hesitation, and wanted to quickly leave this place of trouble. As for the agreement with Han Feng, the two of them directly forgot about it. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.